Tuesday's win against the Yankees, Jose Ramirez collected no less than 3 doubles last night in New York. Jose making sure that he would hit when nobody was going to catch.
Jose hammers it high in the air, deep right field. She is gone to the second deck. Jose's 9th home run of the year extends the Cleveland lead to 4-2.
That courtesy Guardians TV. Good guys going to win at 5-4. Ramirez had 3 hits for the second straight game, scored 3 times. Kyle Manzardo 3 hits, including hitting a home run for the second straight game. Rhys Hoskins pair of hits, including a 2-run blast. He would drive in 3. Gavin Williams 5 1/3 innings, gives up 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 6. Williams picks up his 9th win of the year, tying him for the most in Major League Baseball. New Browns linebacker Jared Verse made his debut at OTAs on Wednesday. Verse coming to the Browns from the Rams as part of the Myles Garrett trade on Monday. Verse was the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2024 and has been a Pro Bowler in each of his first 2 seasons. Browns preseason schedule officially announced on Wednesday. Browns will be in Chicago taking on the Bears Saturday, August 15th, 1 p.m. Browns entertain the Bills Saturday, August 22nd at 1 p.m. And the Browns close out the preseason at the stadium Thursday night, August 27th against New England. NBA Finals last night, Game 1. Knicks comeback, beat the Spurs 105-95. Jalen Brunson, 13 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. Knicks rallied from 14 points down to take the series opener. Karl Anthony Towns added 18 points, 12 rebounds. New York finished the game on an 11-0 run to win their 12th consecutive playoff game. In the loss, Victor Wembanyama, 26 points, 12 boards, but just 6 of 21 from the floor. Game 2 tomorrow night again in San Antonio. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
The Afternoon Drive.
The 9th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Browns left tackle Spencer Fano.
We weren't there. How did the quarterbacks look, in particular Deshaun and Shador today?
Oh, they looked awesome. Those guys are freaking leaders and just amazing players.
Now, if you had to say one looked better than the other,
Yeah,
how would you answer that question,
maybe
Spencer?
cap the race for us.
I won't.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. You know, I gotta say, you might be a rookie, but you're giving off some vet vibes with some of these answers here.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Manzardo sends a high drive, deep right field. Going, gone. Manzo homers for the second night in a row here in New York. Here you go. High and deep and goodbye. Rhys Hoskins puts the Guardians back on top with a 2-out, 2-run homer. Jose hammers it high in the air, deep right field. She is gone to the second deck. And Rhys Hoskins lines it into left field. Jose scores. Manzardo had a great jump, but he'll stop at third wisely. And Rhys Hoskins extends the lead. Sends a high fly ball. Shallow left. Out is Rocchio. Book it. The Guardians have won 2 in a row over the Yankees in New York.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. Another win for your Cleveland Guardians over the New York Yankees. It is you thank goodness that Jose Ramirez is here, because if the Yankees would have got him, he'd have something like 600 home runs right now. He is he bats like 490.
Yeah, you think he'd like it there?
At Yankee Stadium, which is an unreal number. I'm going to get to the finals here in just a second. I ended up watching both last night, and I was surprised at something. I'm going to tell you guys about that here in a second. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, I think we've only been paying attention to the Guardians, and a lot of us are, we were so Tigers focused. Did you know, you do know, like the White Sox aren't BS anymore.
I did not know that.
Like they're not garbage anymore.
You were the first person to tell me that.
They're in second place in the division. You know that. You do.
Yeah,
we were so making fun of the White Sox and the Schriffen element and all that other stuff. And here we are.
Did the team rally around Schriffen? Is that what happened?
Maybe they did. You don't know. Maybe he's already become their Phil Rizzuto.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Maybe he's already become their Herb Score.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know,
All
brother.
I know is I went away for the weekend. I was in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island with the Gilded Age mansions, Kenny, and all.
Which you didn't stay at. You stayed at a regular hotel, which I don't.
And all that I noticed back home here in Cleveland was everybody was like writing off the Guardians because of the games against the Nationals and the Red Sox. And they had their games on there too. That kind of sucked.
They were really people back home were writing them off. They were still in first place.
I'm saying people are like, it's same old. They'll make the playoffs, but they're not going anywhere. And I'm like, really?
Come on, guys.
We're not excited about some of the young players.
Don't let the Cavs rub off on the Guardians. There is an enjoyment here. I don't get tired of the Guardians in the regular season. I don't. I try not to take it for granted.
You know me as a Cleveland fan, I am going to relish victories in the regular season.
I was on with Baltimore, 105.7, our buddy Ken Wyman, because he comes on around the AFC North. I'm like, oh, well, you always got me no matter what. So I went on to talk about Myles Garrett, obviously, a couple of days ago. And they asked me about the Cavs and the Guardians and like how Browns fans feel compared to the other two how Cleveland fans feel compared to the other two. And I said, yeah, a lot of people are down on the Cavs, but I tell you what, just because I think of the circumstances of baseball and the circumstances of where like we are a Midwest Rust Belt Great Lakes city where people, make their jokes from outside. It is kind of nice where, hey, like the Yankees, you play them in the ALCS, they usually get us, things like that. But also, like, if you're a Mets fan, wouldn't you hate the Guardians? Wouldn't you hate them? Because you're spending how much money on all these players, including a former Guardian, and the Guardians. Now, you could blame it on the division all you want, things like. I go, people still, they're really upset about the Browns. They're really upset about the Browns. They're really upset about the Cavs as well. Not as upset about the Browns, but they're upset about the Cavs. I go, with the Guardians, I don't get a lot of that. Like, there are people who maybe they're just not big baseball fans. And we make jokes, but you're a pro Guardians guy. You're a pro baseball guy.
Well, somehow there was a weird faction of the Cleveland fan base that got pissed at me last year because I got excited about the playoffs, just like I did the Cavs. Like I got excited about them going to the playoffs, and the minute they got eliminated, why'd you get excited? Wasted a season.
Well, maybe it's because you've been there because you're the king of low expectations, underselling or under promising over delivering when it comes to sports in Cleveland, and now I will admit you've been a pretty big.
We cannot ever get tired. The Guardians have been to the playoffs 7 of 10 years, and the Cavs are just going every year, whatever. We can never take that for granted. That's been my MO. That's been my philosophy. Like you can never take this for granted because there are so many teams in the NBA that would die to be the Cavs. Yeah. There's so many teams that would die to be the Guardians in baseball. Just be fortunate you're not those teams. Also, I know that it gets somehow stale for fans. Like they don't, it's not going to feel like 95 when you get there for the first time in forever.
Okay, but it's better than winning 60 games a year.
Yeah,
it's better than what the Pirates were going through for 25 years.
Thought, but no, there are people that are quick to tell me every year
that's wrong.
That our teams have no chance.
And those people are wrong. Those people are absolutely wrong because the way you look at this team, you got to look at the sport. Is the NBA, not especially now with the second apron, the NBA is set up for you to not be terrible for long. Like the Spurs, one of the worst teams in the NBA. They get Wembanyama, they get Dylan Harper, and now, hey, they're in the finals. All right, we'll talk about them here in a second. The Cavs, they were on their ass, but they build. It took 4 or 5 years, and now there's real expectations over the last 3 years, really, of what this team is supposed to do. A baseball team can just languish in obscurity
for eternity.
For a generation, easily a generation. Like the NFL's not set up to be that way. The NBA's not set up to be that way. Baseball, and maybe baseball by the time this whole labor conversation gets done, and it might be a long conversation. Rob Manfred did say yesterday that he's having concerns of a lockout, which to have a I know everybody's thinking it, but to have a commissioner admit it, I think is a step in the scary direction. But baseball's not set up like the other two major sports that we talk about there. So, I think that it's not like a charity case of just like, oh, great, you guys did great, wonderful. It's not just that. It's that they have been able to compete in a sport that has their haves and their have-nots, and they've been able to do it for 20-plus years, and really especially over the last decade-plus with Tito Francona, and then over the last few years with Stephen Vogt. I think it's, excuse me, there I go again. Puberty is hitting me again. This is an interesting time for me, everybody. I'll be exploring myself during the break. I do think my voice is raising like this. I do think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. And to beat the Yankees, it's always fun to beat the Yankees. Now, I don't consider
When's
them
the last time they won a series in New York? Is it like 2021?
Been a while.
Yeah.
Has it? I think has it been a few years?
Yeah.
Oh no, Owen's going to take a look. I write these things down. I should remember, but I don't remember right off the rip.
To be up 2-0 and have the brooms out, and they faced so far. Obviously we know Garrett Cole, but the dude that started, a couple games ago,
Cam
game one of the series,
who is
he was unhittable.
Who is a Cy Young leader in the American League.
He was unhittable.
He had given up no more than 2 runs in his last 8 outings. And then ever since Garrett Cole came back from Tommy John, it was 12 scoreless innings he had thrown?
Yeah, it was only his third
since
start.
He came back.
But it's Garrett Cole.
He's still
on paper, who saw that and was like, Guardians will be up 2-0, especially with, the Jose mired in the season-long slump that he's been. Like, holy cow, this is fun. And yes, I'm going to get excited about the Guardians the rest of the year.
No better time than June to bring it up.
I don't want to hear about once they get into the playoffs. Like, you gotta just stop that. You can't give me nothing for the rest of summer.
Exactly. No better time than June to bring it up. But we'll get back into the Guardians coming up here in a little bit. I promise you that. But also, so you called me out on it before the show, and honestly, you're right. When my team does well, but it doesn't get to the crescendo, I tend to just die on the sport for the rest of the however long it runs. And I thought I was going to do that with the NBA Finals. And I remember I said something a couple of years ago, and it got really picked. I remember Chuck Cooperstein got upset. And I go, no. You guys got to hear me the right way about what I'm saying, is that I didn't want to watch it, but I have to watch it. Because I said I didn't want to watch the finals. I wasn't going to watch I didn't want to watch the finals, but I was going to end up having to do it because it's my job. But I said I could have found out, and I didn't think that people cared. The Mavericks were in the finals at that time. That's right, because Chuck Cooperstein did get upset. And we talked it out, and he was fine. Because I said, I don't think the Cleveland fans care about the Mavericks being in the finals. I said my audience doesn't care that much. I think now it's a little bit different because you have this transcendent star, and you've been to the Eastern Conference Finals, so the team that just beat you and now they're up 1-0 in the finals.
May never lose again, apparently.
There's interest there. But me and my emotions, I tend to get drug into the situation. And you said, well, you do that every time, so what's different about it? And I go, well, let me tell you what's different about it. Because you were right to call me out. I've done that several times in our history together. I started out going, well, it's your job, turn it on. I had my little stupid observations as the game started of I thought it was interesting that they had I don't notice. I turned the volume up. I turned the Guardians down. I turned that volume up. And I noticed that there was audio. Do they do the audio from the ref often, or was that like a first-time thing?
No, I thought that was like a new wrinkle.
All right. Who am I? I'm thinking not Tony Brothers. What's the guy's name?
Scott Foster.
Scott Foster. Thank you. And so I was like, oh, wow, that sounds fun. The music that they played for the Knicks introduction was like apparently some TikTok trend that goes on, which I thought was
the starting lineup for the visiting Eastern Conference champions, the New York Knicks. 6'5" guard from Villanova, number 3, Josh Hart.
Mike Brown was on the sideline, and
it's amazing.
He didn't know how to react.
Audio ESPN.
He didn't know.
Head coach Mike Brown.
I think you got to laugh. You just got to have fun with it.
I get you do, yes. And then I started watching the game. I got into the game. And it's just like anything else. It's not just the sports. Like, yeah, I'm going to watch the sports. But I'll sit there and stare at a game and not feel any emotion whatsoever. I started really pulling for San Antonio. Of course, they lost, but I started really pulling. It's got to be the one sport town thing. The sports we talk about. It's got to be the one sport town thing. And it's got to be like the Victor Wembanyama. I never get to see him. I get to see him like a hand. He had the situation last year, and then this year, I've seen him honestly 5 times. This year, a couple times with the cat. I only got to see him a handful of times. I don't get to watch him, and I'm just sitting there fixated on number 1 the entire time, going, this is unbelievable. This guy's going to be a force. I don't care what happens. And I started pulling for San Antonio, and I started being emotionally involved in this game.
He passes the my wife test. Like, does my wife care test?
No, yeah.
He passes if she is walking in the room and she looks up at the screen, is she stopping and at least inquiring? Now, for her, it'll be, 20 seconds and that'll be the end of it.
That's still 20 seconds.
But it's 20 seconds more than 99% of athletes get.
Mm-hmm.
And, you think about it. Like, I said this the day, I'm not alone, but, we had talked on the debut when his first game as a pro, when there was all this hubbub about him coming out and playing, and he did not have a good first game. By the way, did not have a great finals game offensively, really struggled, and they got into him, and their physicality bothered him, and he had trouble ball handling. He had a crucial turnover under 2 minutes left in that game last night. But there is something there's magnetic field surrounding him that you feel like you have to watch, and I think in sports, there's him, there's Shohei. I used to think Steph, obviously LeBron, but there's only so many guys in all of sports that have that. In the NFL, I know just because they're on and more people watch the NFL, but, Patrick Mahomes, for still to this day, feel like if he's on, you're watching him. Josh Allen.
You're right.
Myles Garrett. You're going to hear a lot about Myles Garrett being one of those guys now,
in
especially.
a lot of games, there's when it comes to the general public.
But there's less than 10 guys in sports. Wemby's one of them. And certifiable.
And I think when you bring up your wife, who is an athlete, but you get I get what you're saying. It's Victor Wembanyama and 9 guys. Now, and I think that's the way for a lot of people tuning in. It's Victor Wembanyama and 9 guys. Now, us being what we're supposed to do, we just got over a series with the Knicks. Like Jalen Brunson, I respect him, you respect him, we respect him.
But my wife's not stopping in her tracks to say, who's that?
My son doesn't really care about Jalen Brunson. He cares about Victor Wembanyama. His buddies care about him. And I watched that series, I watched that game last night, and I thought I was just going to be like, well, it's your job. You got to do it. It was going to be like a slog. And I was still not over the finals. You know me. It was like a hangover. And I really ended up getting into it. And mostly it was because of him. And then I'm seeing the San Antonio crowd. I don't have ill will towards the Knicks. We got swept. It wasn't like we lost in 7. But, man, I really started pulling for San Antonio in this series. And I want San Antonio to win it just because – New York's got other things. San Antonio doesn't have very much. They got other things to do, but when it comes to sports, that's the only thing they got there to me. So it's like, well, go. I want the Spurs to win. I want Victor Wembanyama to win. I want him to go off on this rocket ship. I want there to be stars in the league, people that the general public pay attention to. And I got to tell you, not just because of that, I just couldn't take my eyes off him. The movement, some of the moves that happened, like there was the one play where Richard Jefferson remarks, other guys cannot do that. It is not physically possible for them to do some of the things that he's doing, which I love Richard Jefferson on these calls. I'm in the minority. I love him.
The Knicks clearly said, we're going to get out and transition like they did against the Cavs. It was interesting to see both teams actually get back on defense yesterday, but they would take the ball the other way. Josh Hart, on a dead sprint, had gotten past Wemby, and then he'd go to the right side, the left side, the right side, the left side, and then Wemby would effortlessly still block the shot. And you're like, what do you do? What do you do against this? And is this going to be the next 10, 15 years of the NBA? If he be one of the rare, guys that tall to be able to actually play and not get injured. Holy cow. It's just crazy how hard it is to try to score against him. And then, by the way, on offense, he's pretty good. He wasn't yesterday, but he's pretty good on offense.
Speaking of Josh Hart, at 7 o'clock, he said something that's it's going to make you mad, but I don't think it's going to make you mad at Josh Hart. I'm just going to leave that out there. As a Cleveland fan, I'm not trying to make you upset. I got upset, but I wasn't mad at Josh Hart for saying it. That coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. Coming up in 5 minutes, after what I saw yesterday and after what you guys saw yesterday and what they talked about in the afternoon and what they talked about at night with Jake Volnick, maybe the Browns are listening to the fans after all. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with their work on the free Odyssey app. Mary Kay Cabot joins us at 8:20 this morning on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Van Scoy Hair, and right now at Van Scoy.
father, I'm open anytime he wants to meet. He said he was going to come, but he had a commercial. So if he just lets me know where the next commercial shoot is, I'll be there. I'll show up. I really am looking forward to it. I got a ton of respect for him. I got a ton of respect for Shedeur because all he's done since I've been here is work. That's all he's done is compete. He was here early in the offseason. Hell, he bought me a horse head. I mean, tried to, cheese up to me early. So I think, which is really cool. I think it's been great.
That's Todd Monken, the head coach of your Cleveland Browns. I didn't want to post this yesterday on social media.
What does that mean, Kenny?
I watched this press conference. What? Cheese up?
Cheese it up to me early.
Get in his good graces. That's what I'm guessing.
Now.
Yeah, let's not say ass kissing.
I mean, that's what it is,
Kiss
right?
assing then.
I think that was a great move.
All right, Todd Monken was the head coach of the Bengals, and Shedeur was a quarterback for the Bengals. I'd say it's ass kissing. Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Todd identified it immediately. He knew exactly what he was doing.
It's the Browns, so I'm not going to say that.
But there is a level of not that you have to do that, but he's the coach, and he sees that it's a respect-paid type of thing.
I thought that this is one of the things, if you read it the wrong way, I could be taking it as a shot at the Browns and a shot at Todd Monken. So let me say this. I'm enjoying the honeymoon period with Todd Monken, and I'm going to enjoy it as long as I possibly can. Because the guys in the afternoon they were talking about, they're like, Nick is all in on Todd Monken, I think partially because his name isn't Kevin Stefanski. But he's all in on Todd Monken, and Jonathan's like, yeah, I like him too, but I gotta see him coach a game. I gotta see how the game starts. I'm going, you know what? No, I'm gonna take the honeymoon, and we're gonna make this last as long as we can. This is gonna be one of them old style honeymoons that rich people used to do, where it's like a 1 month. You're on a steamship for 1 month out there. Like that's how I want to be with Todd Monken right now, because eventually, with the words of Coach Sam, you're gonna dip him in hot water, and then we're gonna find out. And I told you, I gotta judge them differently. It's not the results, just the results to me. It's going to be the quality of the football. Again, if there's a bunch of pre-snap penalties, if I'm just looking at something that I think looks stupid, just dumb things that happen and they continue to happen and you don't fix them, then yeah, we're going to have problems. And I'm going to have to go away from the smile that I have about Todd Monken. But I love the way he talks, and it's refreshing after 6 years of non-answers, like Kevin, and I know we got more answers with him off the air than on, and that was part of the frustration that he didn't give us anything, and I knew he could give more, and he wouldn't do it, and I thought that it was a bad thing for the fans when things weren't going well. Todd Monken's going to give you exactly what he thinks, and that's enjoyable. He also said a little more about Shedeur Sanders. This is Todd Monken yesterday during his media availability, talking about Shedeur having a good day and the group of players that he played with yesterday in front of the media.
It's a piece of the practice. I think Isaiah Bond has come on the last week and a half as a player, and he's still a developmental player. Shedeur's really come on. I thought he had a really good day today. I thought Deshaun had a good day today. And so I thought both of those guys continue to compete. And you saw today, we've been alternating those guys. You're just not out here every day to see it. It just happened today you were out here and Shedeur got a lot of the work with the ones.
When you had, I understand what he's trying to do, but when you had Miles on this team last week, it was, hey, you got veterans on that team, you're probably going to play the veteran. I know you still have veterans on the team, Anthony, but I think the conversation has changed a bit of what this season's going to be about for this team. Because when they get Jared Verse in, I think we got to figure out exactly what this year is going to be. Jared Verse, at first I go, man, this is such a blow. I go 3 wins. What could it be? Somebody accused me of saying 1 win. I didn't say 1 win. I thought it could be 3 wins, something like that. I thought it was going to be bad. I go, no, Jared Verse is a really good player. Myles Garrett, I know, won a game just by walking out there on the field last year against Pittsburgh. All right, that's last year. Is it a 5-win team still, possibly? Well, the offense has to be better because they can't be any worse. Myles Garrett doesn't affect the offense as much. In the trade, I know that there's other things that have, but he doesn't affect the offense like that. You got better wide receivers. You should. I mean, before they were garbage before. So you should have better offensive line play. You should. They should be able to mix together. There's a lot of things that should happen. So if they should happen, maybe their record should be a little bit better. But now I got to mix that, Anthony, with what do I want to do at the QB position? Because I think a lot of fans kind of turned right around over the last couple of days and go, well, if we're not going to have Miles, and I know a lot of us started to be resigned to the thought that Deshaun Watson was going to start, but if we're not going to have Miles now and this is kind of getting ready for 2027, you might as well see what the young man has. Talking about Shedeur.
Well, that was my thought, regardless of whether they traded Miles. And it's funny, Vegas, did they move the win total a half a game or one full game? Like, Vegas isn't really changing their minds on the Browns at all.
No, they're not.
So is that something that we're just making up as Browns fans? Like,
the initial blow, yes.
Outside of Cleveland, they thought you were going to be bad anyway. So here you're saying, well, this changes everything. And what I'm saying is, I don't know if it does. Like,
well, before I said 7 wins. Well, 7 wins, you're not bragging about anything. So were there people like on our station saying 10, 11 wins? Did Jonathan actually say that, or was he just wondering?
Peterlin is now, he says he thinks we're getting carried away with saying what he had said in the afternoon. He says he never said 11 wins. He says he has a burger bet instead, that they're going to lose a bunch of games. So I don't know exactly where Peterlin is.
All right, can we just say, can we record these things?
Money or burgers?
Yeah, I don't know. They make a lot of burger bets.
I'm sick and tired, and there's probably me included. You say something, you stand by it until you change it officially. So what the hell are our win totals right off the top of the head? Because I'm sick and tired of, well, they didn't use me in context. We didn't use him in context. I don't give a damn. So I'm saying right now, I'm saying 6 wins. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right, you said 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Is that really off the mark of what it was for Miles?
No,
so,
I didn't really change.
Then if you actually don't think it's much, and I don't think it's much, then does that still mean a feather in the cap for Deshaun? Because they're going to think that they can win more than what the pundits, you and I, think that they're going to win. So wouldn't that be more in Deshaun's category because he's a veteran? Because I'm looking at it going, well, you just bit the head off the snake there. You might as well see what the kid has before we go and roll up our sleeves and get into the 2027 draft class here.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because yesterday Shedeur had a better day, by all accounts, had a better day than Deshaun. Most of the other days have been, by most accounts, better than Shedeur. But then it was interesting that they trade Myles Garrett, and now Shedeur gets most of the reps. And I know Todd tried to downplay it, but it's all we have to speculate on. We have no idea what they're actually working on. Like, I saw a really, really bad interception that Watson threw. Conversely, there was a beautiful touchdown throw to Isaiah Bond that was awesome. And then in both the comment sections, people are debating the mechanics of the throws. This actually wasn't as good as the throw. I'm like, you look like a dime to me. Oh, no, he underthrew him there. What? I can't believe we're sitting here breaking down throws. It's now June. I was saying until May. Now it's actually June. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a bunch of people who I can't believe Deshaun Watson still has a camp of fandom after all these bad years.
If you're talking about the internet, there are people who are so annoyed with Shedeur fans that they don't want him to start, and they will latch on to Deshaun Watson.
Well, be that as it may, I saw people say, well, Segura said they flagged it for pass interference. And guys don't throw the ball away in 7-on-7. It's like, you guys are going to lose your mind.
Yeah.
That's
why you got to get away from that Twitter, man.
If you are debating this stuff
get away.
And every rep to this degree, you're not going to survive actual preseason.
No, you're not.
When you get the smallest of small sample sizes, and then the national guys jump in,
so there's two
and
things.
that's all they know.
There's 2 things here. In the real world, in our world, because Miles is traded. In the fans' world, because Miles is traded. We're the same world. Who do you think people want to see more? Do they want to see Shedeur or do they want to see Deshaun Watson?
I thought Shedeur.
Because in the real world, and I would think Shedeur as well. I don't think that the internet is real. I'd like to ask the fans, 216-474-0092. Because Miles is gone, do you believe that Shedeur should be the starter? Because I'll say that, and I think that a lot of people will say Shedeur, but I think in the real world, in their world, which is the real world, in the locker room, I don't think Miles being here or not being here matters. I don't think it matters at all. They got Jared Verse back. He's a young player. He's 25. He's not Miles. I know. Quote it, say it, put it on the wall. But he's also a young, up-and-coming pass rusher who I'm looking to get 10 sacks for my football team this year and be one of the better ones in the division and be one of the names up there with some of the big names that are in this division here because there's still good pass rushers in this division. If that were the way it is, then in real life for them, for Todd Monken, it doesn't matter if Myles Garrett is here or not, which isn't great for the Shedeur fans because you're still trying to win, which means who do you usually go with then? You have a 5th-round guy. If he's not showing it, then you're going to go with the veteran. That's exactly what you're going to do. It's not good for some of the other guys that are in that room when you heard that Todd Monken said we have 2 starting quality quarterbacks on this roster, which I admit I felt bad. I got Dylan Gabriel walking around in number 8. Jared Verse is already wearing number 8. It's like, for his own good and for our own good, get a 7th-round pick and let's move on. And good luck to the young man. I'm serious. I'm not trying to beat up on him. I'm not trying to be mean, demeaning, or whatever. This is not the right time. This is not the right place. Get whatever you can in value and move on, and let's everybody move on in a different direction there, because I think it's sad, and I think it's almost mean to Dillon Gabriel. He didn't ask for this. I don't want to use him as some sort of an arguing point. Let's just move on from each other on that case. But I do want to know, like, in people's eye, in a fan's eyes, like, because we're always thinking big picture. I think a lot of fans, they want to be surprised, but I think a lot of fans are sitting there thinking probably 5 to 7 wins, somewhere in there. Still 5 to 7 wins. But if there's no Miles, does that mean you want to see Shedeur? 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. And also, I want to give credit to the boss because he noticed something interesting with the Browns. And later on, I want to know if you noticed as well.
When you opened your offers, and more rewards that keep you coming back for more. New members sign up for the NP Rewards Card and win up to $25 free play. Must be 21. Certain restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
In your weeknight with the best segments of the day. The Fan Rewind. Weeknights at 11.
Coming up at 9:20 this morning, would you take money from your brother-in-law? One of us has to make that decision. I have a brother-in-law. Owen has a brother-in-law. Lima has a brother-in-law. I don't think John has one. John, do you got a brother-in-law?
No.
All right, 3 of the 4. It could be one of us. Might have to make that decision coming up at 9:20. And it's a very sticky wicket for that person. We'll find out who. We'll find out how much, and if so, even what matter it would be, coming up at 9:20 this morning. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us at 8:20 this morning. So I want to know, the dust is settled. I think Lima wants to know, too. Because in their world, in the locker room, I don't think it matters. I don't. My first reaction was visceral, was emotional about Myles Garrett being traded. Now that the smoke is cleared, we've heard Myles over there in Los Angeles. We've heard Jared Verse here in Cleveland. A lot of things. Again, I'm going to have to harp on not just play, but also some leadership. And maybe he can make up. Like if he gets 10 sacks this year and Myles Garrett gets 17 sacks this year, can you make up for it? And setting a tone and setting a culture in the locker room, I think you can. Because I still don't think you're going to win a whole bunch of games this year. You're not a playoff football team. There's a lot of things that you need to get in a row. But if Jared Verse helps set a tone and helps set a culture with some of the other younger guys, I think that might be a very good thing. Because I noticed some things that were said yesterday that I didn't notice until Keith told me, and we'll play that coming up a little bit. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask about that because I remember, not necessarily fighting with the fans, the callers, the listeners, those engaged with us on social media.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, every step of the way, who cares what Myles shows up to? Who cares how he is in the locker room?
Fought with me.
Who cares if he gets along with the coach? He walks out there and he gets 17 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Okay, are those same people saying that now? Because I saw a lot of reaction yesterday like, oh my God, this guy's going to be a leader. Verse is going to be a leader. Look how hungry he is.
You're getting our true opinions. This is what you're getting. Like, I don't think anybody was comfortable in having to look the other way. Again, not a bad guy, but nobody was comfortable because you grew up in it. You grew up, a lot of guys listening to this played high school sports, high school football, especially it's Northeast Ohio. You are ingrained if you're a 4-year high school football player. Team, family, all that stuff. You're holding people accountable. Hold the rope. The stuff that's written on the T-shirts that the Fathers Club sells to raise money. Like it's part of what it is. And so a lot of us, after high school, that's what we remember. And so when you see this guy who's that good, like not buying in, like you remember in 1996, if you played for Mansfield Senior or whatever, if you played for Mayfield, like you held guys accountable for that. It's if you were a senior or you were a team captain. And you can't do that with him because he's that good. So now if he's not going to be here, hey, we don't have to do this facade thing anymore. I don't have to sit there and look the other way anymore because he is that good. Now I'm hoping to get some of that from Jared Verse. All right, that's beside the point, though, because, again, there's some interesting audio coming up at 7:20. I didn't even notice, and I love to rip on our boss. I think our boss might have had a point here. However, for fans, I think you need to make a decision. I think it resets the conversation about who the quarterback is. Because yesterday we saw Shedeur Sanders play with the ones. Now, I'm sure it was just part of the plan. But what it does is it does get our minds racing going, wait a minute, maybe this isn't as closed as we thought it was. Maybe because there's a new defensive end, the other guy got traded, that now maybe this opens up this conversation. In the real world, in their locker room, I don't think it matters. I don't. But I want to know, to the fans, does it matter? Is it because he's no longer here? Should they just play Shedeur Sanders this year and see what they have? Because you don't do this for more defensive ends. You do this for a quarterback. That's what you do it
wasn't that the case, though, beforehand? If you would have polled the Cleveland fans, wouldn't they have come out by a big majority
and wanted to say
Shedeur?
Shedeur? But I think that's different. They wanted to just move on from Deshaun Watson. And I think a lot of people, when you have that many people telling you that Deshaun Watson's the leader in the clubhouse, you can't help but just assume that he's the leader. How many different people lined up on this station and throughout the media, different pundits everywhere, saying that he was the leader? Umpteen? I mean, the amount was numerous. We had the list of guys that we wanted to pay attention to about the quarterback position or not. Now I think you have a reset in the conversation because of the Myles Garrett trade. Because I think a lot of people were just resigning themselves to the thought that Deshaun Watson was going to be the starter. And that may very well be true because we're living in different worlds. But I want to know to the fans, does it change your mind going, well, no, wait a damn minute here. Maybe I would have been willing to accept, but if we're not going to go anywhere, why the hell am I watching this guy that just reminds me of all the bad football that we played over the last how many years?
But is this run the risk of upsetting the apple cart when it comes to fan and coach? If Todd Monken, regardless of whether Myles was there or not, Todd Monken was always going to want to start the guy that he thought could win games quicker.
Yes.
Right? And now, hopefully, I don't know how you feel about this. Hopefully you don't have a coach that's going to be compromised by like pressure from the front office or anything like that. You want a coach to just, especially an experienced coach, somebody who's in his 60s, tough talking Todd Monken. You want him to be able to make up his own mind on who he thinks is going to actually help the team win games earlier.
Of course.
So are you worried that there might be a disconnect between if the fans want Shedeur, but Todd Monken is identifying who he thinks can win, and he says Deshaun Watson? I think Deshaun Watson can help me win games before Shedeur can.
I'm going to give Todd Monken every benefit of the doubt because he's the head coach of the football team.
But you sound like you've been frustrated if it's not going to be
Absolutely,
Shedeur.
I'll be frustrated. I will be frustrated because before it was I wanted to see Shedeur more than the other guy. The other guy just brings up bad memories. Now I think that we want to make this worth our while. If we're not going to win a lot of games, and a lot of people don't think we will, then we don't want our time wasted. What better way to not waste your time? We have this conversation just about every year because we're looking for a quarterback every year. Let's see what we have in this guy and that guy. Well, this year it's let's see what we have in Shedeur. Because fans don't want their time wasted.
Is there a chance, though, Todd, who doesn't want his time wasted?
He certainly doesn't. That's why he lives in the real life.
He has less of it than most fans. What if he thinks Shedeur is wasting everybody's time?
Then he's not going to play Shedeur, and we're going to deal with it. I'm asking the fans. I'm not asking about what they think Todd should do. I'm asking what the fans think they should do. Because I think a lot of fans are thinking, if we're just not going to win a lot of games anyway, why do I want to see the guy who just brings up bad memories?
Yeah, I think there are fans who don't care about who the better quarterback is. They just want to be done with Deshaun Watson.
I think you're right about that. I totally agree with you about that.
But so we're identifying something that's fairly obvious, right?
Yes.
That the coach is not necessarily going to have the same. He's not going to have the same threshold that fans are going to have. So what do we do with that information?
What do you mean?
If the coach, his only singular mindset is to play the better guy, and the fans don't necessarily care who the better guy is. They would just want to have the younger guy, let him make mistakes.
But
whatever.
I think the fans.
What do we do with that?
I think
are
the
fans going to turn on Todd very quickly?
If the other guy goes out, if Deshaun Watson goes out there and plays with any modicum of success, all will be forgiven. Because I think a lot of fans will go, "Hey, let's give the guy a chance. Let's give Todd Monken a chance, and let's see what he's the head coach of the football team. You like the cut of his jib, you like the way he talks, so fine." But if Deshaun Watson goes out there and plays poorly, like week one, if it doesn't go their way and he's terrible against the Jaguars, you know what Monday morning is going to be. You know exactly what Monday morning is.
What I'm saying is when OTAs are over, if he declares on a depth chart, here it comes out, Deshaun Watson's number one, is the honeymoon for Todd Monken already over for a lot of Browns fans?
It's hard for me to admit this, but I think it is.
Think about that. How many coaches could that happen in June around the NFL?
Well, how many teams, how many fan bases have a situation like this in the quarterback room?
Well, there's
not too terribly many.
Wait, there's plenty of teams that don't know if they have their quarterback on their roster right now.
Yeah, but not with fan bases like this. Not with a fan base dropping in, because you said it yourself 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, like there are people who are so frustrated with Shedeur's fans, they're Browns fans, they've turned and they want Deshaun Watson to play, to stick it to that fan base. Like, this is a very odd place. And I think for just regular Browns fans, if you're like, hey, I'm a Browns fan, I want them to win, but I don't think they're going to win, so let's see what we have instead of just dredging up old bad memories. That's kind of where I'm at on it. 216-474-0092, and I wanted to know if people agree with me, and I'll see whether or not they do when we come back. Mary Kay Cabot at 820N. Josh Hart said something before game one that's going to make you very mad about what Josh Hart says, but you ain't going to be mad at that Knicks player. No. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app.
This is
and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
$9:20. Your brother-in-law wants to give you some money. What do you say? Mary Kay Cabot at $8:20. Would you take money from Mary Kay?
From Mary Kay?
Yeah.
No, couldn't do that.
Sure. She's loaded. It's falling out of her pockets. Asking for money at $8:20. Also, who she thinks who's now in the lead for the quarterback position. Get to that coming up here at $8:20 with Mary Kay. I'll get back to the Browns. More Guardians coming up at 7:45 and about last night, because if the lineup has picked up Jose through the first couple of months of the season, and now Jose is going to heat up, it's hard for me to be responsible about how the season may end. More on that coming up at 7:45. Josh Hart said something before game one that I think is going to make you mad. I don't think it's going to make you upset at Josh Hart. This is the New York Knicks basketball player who continued to be a thorn in our side a couple of weeks ago in the Eastern Conference Finals. And this is Josh Hart on a podcast before game one of the NBA Finals on the Roommates podcast with he and Jalen Brunson. And, well, you go ahead and take a listen.
Game 4, I guess we lost analytically. I know we won analytically, so analytically speaking, we weren't there for Game 5. So I think technically they're up 3-2, analytically speaking. There's a lot of things that analytics don't show or don't take into account. I just always thought analytics for like geeky, unathletic white guys that wanted to be a part of the league but just couldn't make it playing basketball, so they decided to put math into the equation.
Well, that was mean-spirited towards geeky, unathletic white guys towards the end there. But you know what he's referencing. I'm getting really annoyed by this because it's not I don't – well, you go ahead and say it, because I think you kind of said it right before the show.
Well, this honestly,
you go ahead and say it, because I don't want to say it. I just want to agree with you on it. That's all.
Yeah, I
don't want to say it.
Is anybody surprised that he didn't just get fired, knowing, all right, they got swept, but also this is going to live forever? Mm-hmm. Like, this is the new. Younger fans won't know this, or maybe they will. I don't know if they teach this in schools these days, but the river burning was really fodder on The Tonight Show.
For a long time.
And all the late night shows, Letterman, Leno, maybe even Conan, they were telling that same joke up until my teenage years. And when did the river get set on fire?
1960s. No, it was the first time was the 60s. Yeah. It happened a couple times after.
Okay. But it was always presented as like this happened last week.
So
right?
40 years that maintained.
Now it's one of the cleaner waterways in all of North America. So I don't even want to hear about it now. Go ahead.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's a feel-good. We turned it into a feel-good.
Turned it into a positive.
So that's 40 years of jokes. I don't know that this is going to last 40 years, but this is going to last a long time with sports fans. And what I'm wondering is, how does Dan Gilbert feel every time that another player or a meme drops or somebody on social media says this and relates it to their relationships? Because we've seen that. We've played it already. Like, I don't think this one's going anywhere.
Your job as a head coach.
Especially if the Knicks win the championship.
Part of your job as a head coach. Yes. Part of your job as a head coach, not the biggest part, but part of your job as the head coach is to not be a distraction. And you're seeing some of this stuff in like Josh Hart is a basketball player. He's doing a podcast with his roommate, Jalen Brunson. This is a basketball sense. But you're seeing it in non-basketball atmospheres. You're seeing it in non-sports atmosphere. And I'm thinking, I don't want to fire a guy just because of something he said in a press conference.
Right.
But damn it, you can't sit here and act like people say things and it don't follow them around for the rest of their careers. Because I asked you when we played some other snippet, and I think this was Owen. Owen reminded me about Mike Vrabel, because I'm thinking, man, there's nobody in professional sports, no coach in professional sports who needs a championship more than Kenny Atkinson right now in Lima. Or Owen goes, Mike Vrabel. I went, okay, there's only one guy more in professional sports in America that needs a championship more than Kenny Atkinson, and that's Mike Vrabel. But it's Kenny Atkinson. And frankly, when they run this back, because I can't just assume that they're going to make these trades. They're going to try. They're going to try. But I can't just assume they're going to make all these trades. I'm telling you right now, Tone, like, this is going to be said in every arena. Anytime they lose a game on Inside the NBA, it's going to be brought up. Hell, if the Knicks keep winning, it might end up on SNL, for crying out loud. Some guy might walk out there as Kenny Atkinson in a sketch. I haven't seen SNL in quite a while. I'm sure you guys will let me know. And other guy, Howard Dean. Was Howard Dean the leader for the presidential nomination back in 2004? You know what happened after? You know what happened after that?
That was it.
Guys say silly things, and if their job isn't just to say silly things and get things off their chest, like maybe it costs them, and it just continues to follow them around. And it's only been a couple of weeks, but damn, it's just so insane. And I'm seeing meme after meme. I'm like, it ain't going away. It's not going away.
No, if anything, it's intensifying. And like I said, if the Knicks win the championship, I wouldn't put it past, Dolan to get up there, James Dolan to get up there on the mic at the end and reference it.
Let me ask you this, though. Is there something to be said about where's your humanity? Because Kenny Atkinson gets a chance to run this back. Like, if we just fired him after this, because like, hey, you got swept 4-0, but you also said something that everybody's embarrassing us, and we have a very expensive roster, and these are really good basketball players. I know it didn't go our way, but damn it, this is embarrassing, and you've embarrassed the franchise by just that word that got away, the sentence that got away, even though that's embarrassing. If you fire him for it, he's always known as the analytic guy. But if you give him a chance to run it back, he does have a chance to redeem himself.
Yeah, the problem is they were in the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
Oh, you got to win a championship. Now there's only one more step to go.
There's only one other place to go.
Yes.
It's two places. It's getting to the finals and then winning the finals. But obviously, it seems like here in town, nobody thinks they have a chance to do that. So, I mean, those are some long odds.
Because John had said, well, gosh, if you fire him, then it makes it an even bigger deal for the guy. I go, no, it doesn't. He's gone. I got a new head coach. I got those same players. I got a new head coach. As long as he doesn't talk about analytically we're up 2-1 in the series or anything like that in the future, we just move on. It's on Kenny Atkinson for the rest of his career. But then I feel bad because I don't like firing people. And I kind of feel bad. It's like, well, he's not a bad guy. What he said was silly.
No, well,
but he's not a bad person, I think. Like, maybe I give him another chance.
I could explain away in less than 20 seconds what he meant, and then he moved on in the press conference. So it wasn't like that was the whole press. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
They got a hold of it. The clip is the clip. It doesn't even matter. Like, I've heard the Zach Lowe's of the world say, well, what he was trying to say, I just wouldn't have said. But it doesn't matter because in the next podcast, Zach Lowe's making fun of him. So the context isn't even saving Kenny Atkinson here. It's over. Like, this is going to stick with him forever now. And you said unless he wins a championship. Well, it's a really hard sport to try to win a championship. And now that the Knicks are 3 wins away from immortality, like, it's even going to be, it's going to be more. It's going to be more and more and more and more.
Would you let him go just because of this? Yeah, I know you don't want to. And neither do I. And it seems to be petty and cheap, but other guys get let go of for cheap reasons in the NBA. Basketball coaches, I mean, we've seen guys get hired and fired in the NBA and professional sports for silly reasons all the time.
That's what's so interesting about this to me. When I thought
at the back of your skull.
When I thought the day after the season ended, I thought he was getting fired. Like, I was pretty damn sure of it. I would have put money on it. I mean, there was some value to. Actually, there wasn't that much value to be had because everybody thought he was getting fired. And I'm not trying to be, dismissive of who he is or his entire career, but in that sport, they can find new coaches so easily, and they do. I mean, they fire guys, they bring guys. Tom Thibodeau went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And they got rid of him.
And they got rid of him. And they already found success.
And Tom Thibodeau's not going to sit there and talk. Everybody cares about analytics in sports. We all know this. But he's not going to talk about analytics and bring up any ghosts of the past and bring up how they would be up 2-1 analytically. There's no would. He said they were up 2-1 analytically. And if it continues, every time we lose a game in the regular season next year, it is going to be thrown in our faces.
It will. And now Kobe Altman had his back.
Anytime you lose a big game, it's going to be thrown in your faces.
Yeah, Kobe had his back at the end of the season press conference, and he thought that was patently unfair. Yeah, we live in an unfair world.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a totally if San Antonio loses the NBA Finals, they're going to be hit pieces most likely on Wemby all offseason. Is that fair? It's stupid.
No.
He's unbelievable. He's incredible.
Just because it isn't fair doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. And it will make every loss worse. And if it makes every loss worse, you can't tell me that's not in the head of Dan Gilbert during the season if the season doesn't start off wonderfully.
He's going to be treated like dead man walking going into the season now.
I treat this season as of right now, we are going to walk it back. We're going to run it back. And if we are going to run it back, because I can't force these teams to make trades. I read the report yesterday. Let me say this quickly. I read the report yesterday. The Heat are one of the teams that are the leader to go get Giannis. I can't force LeBron to come back here and play for the Cavs. Those are the two big names that are out there. I'm sure there will be other names. I know that they will try to make adjustments to the team. But as of right now, the adjustments that we talk about, I don't know if they're very realistic. So I have to go back on the premise that we're going to run it back this year. And every time you lose a game, and Kenny Atkinson's your head coach, that is going to be brought up, especially in the big national television games, which are still one of the final four teams in the NBA. So you're going to have plenty of them. You do have stars on this team, so you're going to have plenty of them. So Dan Gilbert's going to see this. He is going to see all the guys. He's going to see Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley making fun of that. And I'm telling you, it plays into this. It does. Because you didn't spend the most money in the NBA to get made fun of on national television and get made fun of by a bunch of people who aren't even sports people. Yeah, it does matter as much as I hate to say it.
The Browns are supposed to get ripped on for the analytics stuff, not the Cavs.
Mary Kay Cabot coming up at 8:22 this morning. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. And did you notice something from the players' press conferences yesterday? Our boss did, and, well, I think Keith has a point. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima on the Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for QC Kinetics. We're talking about real reform to your body.
playoff game. Game 2 tomorrow night again in San Antonio. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
I wanted to talk about Todd Monken and Deion Sanders coming up at 8 o'clock. It's hard for me not to do it right now. I'm gonna wait till 8. I'm gonna wait. I promise you, I will wait. Damn it, Tone, it's hard. Because they're in an uproar. I didn't mean to get them in an uproar. We're in an uproar. Guys, I know Deion Sanders is a major celebrity. I actually think you're going to go with me on this. Let me just give you a taste of it. I know Deion Sanders is a major celebrity. I know his son is a major celebrity. I know a lot of you don't think his son is that good. I don't think that he's the future of the franchise for the Browns. Okay? It doesn't mean that he can't talk to Todd Monken. It doesn't mean that. Coaches talk, guys who are college coaches talk to NFL coaches about quarterbacks and about all the other positions all the time. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Did somebody say something to the contrary?
Social media reactions are brought to you by
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry
So I
store.
tweeted it out, and I'm getting a lot of daddy ball comments. And I go, nope, that's not it. If Shedeur sucked and the Colorado Buffalo still sucked while Shedeur was there, then you could say daddy ball all you wanted. Except they weren't 1-11. They went to 4-8 and then 9-4. That is a clear step up for a program.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately for them, they're right back to where they started. It would seem. My God, what happened over there?
Which makes Shedor's case even better, doesn't it?
I'm so confused. Is there an entire wing of the Shedeur fan base that thinks all the white hosts are the same?
I don't know.
Because we never blasted it. We thought,
I'm getting lumped in with you about the anti-Shedeur stuff.
Why wouldn't he talk? Now, I did say
because I don't think he's the franchise anymore. I mean, you can call me that.
So he shouldn't be talking to the coach every week during the season, like the coach, and nor would Deion Sanders ever subject a head coach to that because he is a head coach. Would he want all the high school coaches of all the players talking to him every single week? No, he's got bigger fish to fry. He's got bigger stuff to do. In the offseason, why wouldn't they talk? I just don't think it should be an every week thing during the season.
There are other celebrity coaches. Very few of them can touch Deion Sanders. And most of the ones that can touch Deion Sanders have had a significant history in the game and have had multiple rings in the game as champions. Yes, I get that there's different gravitas. I'm not going to compare him to Nick Saban. I guess we're just doing it now. I'm not going to compare him to Nick Saban because Nick Saban can pick up the phone and talk to anybody he wants to, and they've actually been in commercials together. Nick Saban can talk to anybody at any time, and anybody's going to listen because it's Saban. But I bring up Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has had a long career in coaching college football, and it's certainly been a rocky career at times in coaching college football. I don't hear nothing about Jackson Dart. I'm sure he talked to the Giants before. I'm sure he still talks to the Giants a time or two about Jackson Dart and about a bunch of other players from Ole Miss and everywhere else he's been with all the other places that he's been over the time. So that to me, that doesn't matter to me. Just because, yes, Deion is a celebrity. Yes, he comes from a different background because he went off the desk and became the coach at Jackson State and then became the coach of Colorado. But this is something that, as much as we want to sit there and get upset, it is a normal process.
Over one fact.
What am I glossing over?
He's not just a former celebrity player. He's his father. Lane Kiffin is not Jackson Dart's father. And this is not coming from me specifically. I'm just saying that's the biggest. Mm-hmm. You would not talk to every other player's father. I get they're not the coach.
Which is what I told somebody. I go, just because we don't know who Jason Simpson is doesn't mean I should feel a whole lot better.
I think there's got to be a difference here. There is some nuance here, right? Kevin Stefanski clearly did not make any time. Also, Kevin was, I think he was obviously battling for his coaching life, and Deion's kid was the fourth string. He was drafted behind, the third. He wasn't even the first quarterback taken in the draft. Yes, he was way down the totem pole.
I mean, everybody was put in a bad position there.
But this year, it's different. It's one or the other. It's clearly it's either Shedeur or Deshaun Watson to start the year. And I think we'd all like to see a better Shedeur Sanders than we saw last year. Last year was a player who's not going to stick in the league. So I don't have a problem with them talking. I do think, every coach is going to want to put, the players that are competing for jobs and their families and or college coaches. They're going to also want to have them at arm's length to some respect. Like, all right, yeah, let's talk about how, he can be better. You're a coach, you're a player, you're a Hall of Famer. Like, what do you think? How do you think he wasn't being used right? Well, but then after that, it's got to be like, you don't have my direct line the whole season. Like, I don't think any NFL coach would want that. By the way, I don't think Deion wouldn't want that from a bunch of people in his life. Like, at some point, you got to let the coaches coach.
I think
but
he
it's the
understands
offseason. There's no damage to be done in the offseason. It can only help.
I understand there's such a thing as like helicopter quarterback dads, and that's been brought up a bunch of times. I read the Stuart Mandel articles and things like that. Like, yeah, there's definitely those guys, and they can become a big problem for coaching staffs there. If you're just a dad. He's the head coach of Colorado. So I can guarantee you that Jacksonville has reached out to him about Travis Hunter. I can just about guarantee that. I can guarantee you that other guys have been reached out to Deion Sanders about other guys that he's coached. I can guarantee you even in the transfer portal, I know for a fact one of them in the transfer portal, there's been a major college football coach who has reached out to him and reached out to members of his staff about guys who transferred out of Colorado, who he talked up. For crying out loud. And I think we know who I'm talking about there on that case. And you'd only have to do a little bit of digging to find out. I'm not going to mention it now. So to me, and I'm glad you brought up the father thing, because
he's not any of their dads.
Daddy Ball has been brought up. If he went out there and he sucked, Daddy Ball can be said all the time because there's clearly a problem there. You could say it. That's the definition of Daddy Ball. That's what that is. You know that world. I know that world. And you know that you will know that world, Anthony. Keith is going to know that world. We've all been heard the stories of Daddy Ball, right? But if he clearly raised the program, which he did, it's right there, 1-11 on their ass, the worst program in P4 college football, to 4-8, then to 9-4 in a bowl game. That is clearly a successful run. And you mentioned it yourself. They struggled like hell last year. What were they, 3-9 last season?
Yeah, unfortunately, the arrow's pointing down. I don't know what's going on.
Obviously, Shedeur meant a great deal to that program. So I'm not going to take away anything of what has happened. And yes,
yeah, but you agree there needs to be limits, right? It can't be. He's not going to be having an open dialogue with Deion throughout the season.
I don't think that he should be trying to text him right after games and before games and things like that. No. But I think that
because I think that's what some people think
Deion
might happen.
Understands that though. I really do.
Right, he should. I'm seeing some, think like, all right, is this really going to be? Is this going to be detrimental to Todd? I don't think that's going to happen during the regular season. I think this is just, an off-season meeting. I'm not going to make a huge deal about it.
He is his son. We all want what's best for our sons, but I also understand that Deion Sanders, I would believe, and I do believe, that Deion Sanders understands what coaches go through now that he's been a coach for a decade. I think he gets that.
Now, he might not be sympathetic to what Kevin Stefanski is going through. Yeah, well, because Kevin's got 2 head coaching jobs now, and I'm sure Deion would like to coach in the NFL.
He also brought it up, and some people took it the wrong way. He said that he didn't reach out, and he felt that was odd, probably because he's had other guys reach out about other players, and this is his son, and he said that he didn't reach out to him. So Deion's allowed to think that it's odd.
I really didn't.
Would Lane Kiffin find it odd if the Giants didn't say anything to him about Jackson Dart, just didn't want to talk to Lane Kiffin? Wouldn't you? If you were the head coach of Ole Miss and Jackson Dart was your quarterback and you were an offensive guy, wouldn't that be odd to you?
I didn't think it was that odd, to be honest.
I thought it was odd. Jed Fish.
Kevin, did you ever bring it up before?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I host with you every day. I don't remember you.
Well, during the season, I'll tell you this. I assumed that he had talked to Deion at some point. I did not realize there was no reaching out. I thought it was odd.
I assumed that Deion would have been at camp at some point and they would have talked. But again, this kid was the 4th-string quarterback.
And he's got a camp of his own.
Normally fifth rounders who are 4th-string never see the light of day. They're never even really in a team's plan.
I think Deion understands that wherever he goes, there's going to be a crowd. And there's going to be people who follow him. And there's going to be eyes on him. It's been like that for 40 years.
He also knows how to get a hold of Kevin Stefanski, too, though. I mean, that's a two-way street.
Wait a minute.
Was he sitting there waiting by the phone going, where's Kevin? Where's Kevin? Why hasn't Kevin reached out to him? Really?
I disagree with this right now.
He's a coach?
I disagree with this right now.
It's kind of presumptuous.
For the reason Owen just said what he said. If it gets out there in the media that I'm calling up Kevin Stefanski over my son while you guys are trying to figure out your quarterback situation, then I've given everybody all the ammo in the world.
Keep moving the I don't know if it's the goalpost.
I'm not trying to move it.
Are we talking about Dion the coach or Dion the dad? It's hard to do. You have to differentiate between the two.
That's what makes the conversation interesting,
right.
I'll tell you that.
It's a very unique thing.
It is.
How should he be able to just reach out and talk to him?
How do you think that people would have reacted had we found out that Deion Sanders was trying to get a hold of Kevin Stefanski? It would have been daddy ball. It would have been helicopter dad. And then on the other side, it would have been, why isn't Kevin Stefanski picking up the phone? But we found out later on that they didn't reach out to Deion Sanders, according to Deion Sanders, which I do find to be a bit odd, considering that is a standard thing that guys do. They build relationships. Again, I bring up Jed Fish. He was on the station, on with Baskin and Phelps after we took Denzel Boston. He said they had numerous conversations about Denzel Boston with Andrew Berry and with this staff.
Sure.
Numerous conversations.
Sure.
That's a wide receiver.
But again, you mentioned Jackson Dart before. You mentioned
just because they're not his son, it doesn't.
But you're mentioning first-round picks that everything in the pre-draft process is honing it. Shore was never that. He was never that. He was an afterthought throw-in fifth-rounder, like let's throw a dart. That's a huge difference. We can't act like that is the same as holy cow, we're gonna create a whole plan of attack to go get him in the first round.
I know
that's very different.
I know Sam Pittman got canned, so it's going to be hard to make this argument. Would you be at all surprised, even as a 6th-round pick? Would you be surprised if Sam Pittman had kept his job? That Taylon Green, they reached out to Sam Pittman before the draft and asked a little bit about Taylon Green. Would you be surprised?
To figure out how to use
he's just
him.
a 5th and 6th round guy.
But Shedor's very different because Shedor's a quarterback. Taylon Green, they're trying to figure out where he fits in the NFL. Does he do special teams? Could he do special teams? They've already talked about that.
If he was just a classic,
that's very different. Could he be a wide receiver?
I don't think it's different at all.
Could he be a slash? Like Shedor, the tape is the tape. He's a quarterback. He's not trying to be anything else.
And I think you go and talk about what makes him comfortable. What doesn't make him comfortable? Is he good at these type of reads? Can he translate? Can he remember the play calls that he's going to get in his helmet in the NFL when he has to decide and tell the linemen what to do, tell the tight ends what to do, what routes to run, what the running backs are supposed to do, what to do after a can? Like, is he able to do all that in his head?
So
like, these are things you ask.
Pat Shurmur, then, who was his offensive coordinator in the play call.
I don't know if they would have liked what they would have heard.
Didn't we want to have Pat Shurmur on?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, why are we so like? If they did talk to the guy who was calling the plays and the guy who was, talking to him in his headset, wouldn't that be the equivalent of talking to his head coach, who turns out to be his dad also?
Yeah, I would think so, right?
Yeah, so then I think the conversation's over then. They did their job. They don't need to talk to Deion if they talk to Pat Shurmur.
Okay. I guess so. But I think that head coach is an offensive guy.
Because of the unique situation.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, the head coach is an offensive guy. He was also a defensive back.
So I can't ask the head coach just because I asked Pat Shurmur?
In this unique situation, I don't think it's as prudent.
Okay. I think so. They should avoid Deion.
Yep, that's what I said.
Okay, I'm just.
You've
asking.
asked me 3 times. I keep saying
I
the
don't know
same
why
answer.
they need to avoid it calling Deion though.
I just said, Ken, if they talk to the guy that called his plays in college,
okay,
why do they also need to talk to the guy who didn't call his plays in college, who also turns out to be his?
They don't necessarily need to do that. Then fine.
I just don't think. I think there is, when people go, what's the difference? 5th round pick, 1st round talent. It's like when a guy's taken in the 5th round and he's the 2nd quarterback taken. You took a quarterback before him. Like, they're going to devote more into the 3rd round quarterback than they are. Like Shedor, there's a lot of guys in the 5th round don't even make a football team.
Anthony, it doesn't.
So I think Kevin Stefanski, while trying to save his job and had 1,000 other things, he had Joe Flacco as his starting quarterback. I don't think he is going to spend a ton of bandwidth on Shedor Sanders.
But what I think you don't realize is that they do call about late round guys. They do want to find out about late round guys.
But we're talking about meetings, and we're talking about what is Deion? Does Deion want some film room time with him? Like, what does Deion want?
No.
Well, I think it's important.
That I don't know. I have no idea.
He's the one making an issue. Remember, he's the one making an issue of it. It's not Kevin Stefanski. So you've got to explain, like, what did Deion want out of these conversations?
I would like to know myself.
Did he want to just give his kid the leg up on a quarterback competition for second string?
Well,
or
you're
third
always going to
string?
believe in your player. I mean, good God, we had Dabo Sweeney on here, and he said that Taj Boyd was going to save the Cleveland Browns.
Does Dylan Gabriel?
Thank you.
Dylan Gabriel's dad was kind of a legendary figure in football. In Hawaii, does he get a meet and greet too?
He can at least ask for his son to keep his number.
You see the slippery slope when it comes to this.
I really don't.
So you do think Dylan's dad should have gotten a meet and greet with Kevin Stefanski?
I mean, I've seen a lot of players out there. I cannot tell you the amount of rookies.
Consistent.
I cannot tell you the amount of rookie dads. I know you never go to camp, but I do. And I cannot tell you the amount of rookie dads that I've seen walking around the hallways over the last 15 years of the station, 14 years as partners with the Cleveland Browns.
It should have been like open house for college. All the dads come on one day.
Yeah, that's it.
Kevin Stefanski has dad day.
That's the slipperiest wizard of all wizard arguments.
All the people, especially if they played football at a high level,
wizard of all
they should all come together.
You always find a way. We're going to always find a way.
We're going to do breakfast, then we're going to do film session, then we're going to talk about the rules and how they're different from college to the NFL.
They're right on that tent as you walk back into the
VIP,
in from the field house, and you would know, but you're never there.
I would know because I've been in the VIP tent.
Congratulations on all the Wizards'
I've been invited. It seems like I've been invited more than Dion has to the VIP tent.
Does that mean that that's a problem with Dion?
No, I didn't say there was a problem.
What would hurt about calling Deion Sanders?
Yeah, I remember when I said I did not say there was a problem with them meeting or anything like that. I also don't think Kevin needed to go out of his way to invite him up to have some huge one-on-one. Like, it's a fifth-round pick.
I don't know if he did.
He's fourth-string quarterback.
Did Deion say that he wanted to be flown in and wined and dined and be sat down in an office?
He's the one complaining. He's
I'm going to stop short there. But go. I want to know. I thought Deion was.
He seems smitten. He seems like his feelings were hurt. He's the one that seems like, they didn't reach out to me. Okay, well.
What do you guys think? I want to ask you guys. What do you guys think? The franchise that's been on its ass at the quarterback position since Bernie Kosar, maybe they should do all their due diligence, maybe give the head coach a phone call? What's a phone call?
Oh, so you don't think they're working hard enough? You don't think that Kevin Stefanski put the time in, or Andrew? Was it Andrew Berry? Is
maybe if Kevin called him,
is any of it Andrew Berry's fault?
Maybe if Kevin called him, Kevin wouldn't be in Atlanta right now.
He's the one guy that's still
expected to win more games.
If we're going to take things to the umpteenth degree, I'll take
Kevin
it too.
With B. John Robinson expected to win more games than the Browns this year. Boy, it seems like he really fell out of luck.
Well, they're a little further along than we are, aren't
with
we?
A new contract.
Isn't that why Raheem Morris got fired?
With a more lucrative contract. Boy, things have not worked out for Kevin, have they?
Well. Maybe Kevin. Do you think Kevin wanted to pack up and move and pack up and move and go to Atlanta?
The day he lost his job. By the way, just sold his home for $2.something million. The day he lost his job.
Congratulations on all your success.
Immediately was on job interviews. Apparently, the league feels higher about Kevin.
Are we doing about last night? Or are we just fighting this? We're fighting this, aren't we?
We're just doing that.
Should the Browns talk to Deion? 216.
Which we both agreed, sure.
47. Why are we fighting?
I don't know.
Why are we fighting? Jose Ramirez, don't call it a comeback at 8 o'clock on the Fan. We'll get back to this when we come back.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Now the Guardians stop the Yankees 5.
Tri-C Jazz Fest, presented by Key Bank, June 25th through 27th at Playhouse Square. Enjoy local and national performances, plus a community festival full of family fun. Visit TriCJazzFest.com. That's Try-C-Jazzfest.com.
There's only one place to hear breaking Browns news. This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. 92.3 The Fan.
You got to read. You got to read the one tweet before we take the calls. You got to read the one. Sean got me good.
As always, brought to you by Scheibe Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Social media reactions. Sean T. 2167 says, Ken wants parent-teacher conferences for rookies.
No. I mean, yeah. Why not? What the hell?
This image I'm seeing online currently of Daddy Day at Browns training camp. It's a one-on-one time with the coach.
See,
whoever made. Oh, it was Anthony Lyman.
This is why I signed the data center petitions.
You don't want these?
It's because I don't want Lyman zinging me on the internet.
He did that in like 4 seconds.
It is quite good.
Who is Jackson's dad?
There's always like 4 terrible glitches that truly make it AI slob.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the 5 differences right now.
216-474-0092. All right, let me go to the phones. Should Deion Sanders get to talk to Todd Monken? Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're asking?
That we had both agreed. We had no problem with that. Where we started arguing was, did Kevin make some egregious mistake? People did add, Deion was going through it last year, big time, health-wise. Yeah. So I don't know how much time. Good point. I don't know how much time Deion would have had to do that. But was this some seismic error by Kevin not to include Deion? And all the point I was making
did he
was
get fired?
That Shador was like 4 string.
I understand, but
I don't know how much time
when you get fired, it just all gets devoting. When you get fired, it all just gets piled on. It all gets thrown on top of the pile. So because he got fired, it's like, what could you have done to do things differently? What could you have done to do things better? Not have 4 quarterbacks. It probably wasn't a great setup. Excuse me. There's no probably about it. It wasn't a great setup for anybody.
Shador was never going to save Kevin's job last year, even if he would have started week 1.
It wasn't a good setup for Shador. It wasn't a good setup for Kevin. It certainly wasn't a good setup for Dylan Gabriel, who's still here, oddly enough. I mean, good God, you want to talk about disrespect, for crying out loud. Like, I felt bad for him yesterday.
They literally are wearing the same number.
He looked like a father and son at a Browns game. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I did not mean it like that. I know that came off really mean, but I didn't
are they
going to
call Jared Verse to see his thoughts on Dylan Gabriel?
Paul and Kent, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Paul.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, the lack of due diligence by Stefanski it's absolutely ridiculous because here, if you have Deion Sanders, who's played with Troy Aikman, Steve Young, a multi-Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer, and a good coach, it's just due diligence. I mean, Stefanski waited to play his best quarterback.
Because guys get drafted late in the draft. Guys do get picked up because they're friends with coaches and things like that. That's not crazy.
Right. Well, my thing is, here you have Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. They both got outplayed by Shador Sanders. And then turn around and Joe Flacco plays really great. Well, not really great. Solidly, markedly better with Cincinnati. And you heard from Daryl Ryder when he's like, I'm not sure what they're seeing. Why is Shador not playing, especially over Dylan Gabriel? Stefanski had 13 quarterbacks in 6 years. He seemed to have like a personal issue with 2 of them, Baker and Shador. Why is that?
I wish I could tell you. I cannot tell you why.
He won games with Baker. They went to the playoffs,
they
won a playoff game.
They won a season game.
They had a public issue back and forth.
I think a lot of guys had issues with Baker. I think Myles Garrett had a public issue with Baker.
None of them are head coaches. No, you're not talking about head coach. You're talking about other players.
But what was the? You said seemed to. What do you have anything to back that up? You said seemed. Seemed carries a lot of weight there.
Injury, when Baker Mayfield had that injury to his shoulder, and they kept coming out with conflicting discussions and arguments, you could even feel it. Like, does he not like Baker at a personal level or something? And then you have this with Shador. Like, That's really weird for your best quarterback to be.
Well, Paul, this is an explanation. This is an explanation, not a, and I don't know the true answer. Okay, I'm just trying to explain it, but I do know some things about that season. I can't say much to last year. All right. That was a wild year.
I mean, the numbers I see,
silly.
You're talking about the team that he was the best on the team. The numbers I'm looking at right now is he was dead last among all quarterbacks last year that qualified by almost every metric.
That's why you watch. What happened to Joe Flacco?
I watched. It was pretty bad, dude. It was not good with Shedeur.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, correct?
Shedeur had the easiest of schedules in terms of the defenses he played against.
I'll tell you about what.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Paul, I got to let you go because I want to try to fit Fawn in here.
Did we not think that maybe Bill Musgraves, who was the quarterback coach who Dion had talked about publicly being a fan of, had talked to Dion at some point?
Well, I'd hope
we
so.
We don't know that.
Yeah, but we don't know for sure, but I'm guessing we did.
Did Andrew Berry talk to Dion to gather intel?
Well, I don't know.
Right?
I have no idea.
I'm sure he did.
Well, I can't assume anything with you sitting next to me.
So I would assume when they flew out there and had dinner and all that, they talked.
My theory is I do believe in the Baker season
just forgot all that.
where the wheels came off. I'm sorry, but the Baker season where the wheels came off. I do think Kevin tried to put some things in to protect Baker because of the injury, and Baker just wasn't doing that. Okay, that's just how Don't come after the messenger.
I think history has shown that both of them made cataclysms. He just should have been benched. I mean, he just shouldn't have played.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have played. Obviously, good luck telling Baker that, right? And maybe the team was in evaluation mode. We always wondered, are they trying to see what a banged-up Baker looks like?
Had he not sat,
not good.
Had he sat in that season, I'm not getting made fun of with AI slop in 2026. You think of the ramifications of our world, the butterfly effect. 216-474-0092. Guys, it's hard for me to be responsible when I see young guys picking up Jose Ramirez. It's very hard for me to keep these alligators down. That and Keith Britton noticed something about the press conferences yesterday with Carson Schlesinger and Alex Wright, and I want to know if anybody else noticed that. That and Mary Kay Cabot coming up at 8:20 on The Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Mentality Health. Unlike online-only services, Mentality's different. How? Offering in-person consultations with board-certified physicians to make sure that you are having your specific needs tailored.
is not only way better than that, but also has some higher aspirations?
Obviously, I have no idea. I have no idea what it's like in this. This is my first experience in this league, but this is by far the best team I've ever been a part of.
The Afternoon Drive, weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I want to notice if anybody else noticed what Keith, our boss, noticed during the press conferences yesterday after practice. That coming up in just moments. Also, Mary Kay Cabot coming up at 8:22. So one of the major things that nationally go on around Jose Ramirez, and I've become, and you actually are very defensive of Jose about this as well, is when you get into the postseason, it's like, where does he go? Where does he go? Where does he go? It's like, well, wait a minute. He's got to care. He's always playing with a younger group of guys now. I mean, he is over 30. But part of it is that you need him to do so much more than you would out of a normal lineup because he's playing with kids. He's playing with the kiddos. And the veterans that he does play with are not hitters like him. And so you put so much on. So 0 for 3 isn't 0 for 3. It might as well be 0 for 27 in a playoff game because he's the only guy that you can really count on. And I think that that's unfair to Jose, especially when you play a team like the Yankees in the ALDS 2 years ago, where the first 6 hitters are on a completely different level on their lineup, which makes it interesting because, obviously, he took it to the Yankees these last 2 games. It's very ironic and very nice.
Yeah, I basically wonder what he would do in the Dodgers lineup or the Yankees lineup over time. And, of course, he probably had that opportunity, but he decided to stay here.
And it's one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't do it, thank God. And I don't think he makes these decisions wondering what could have been, because you don't need to wonder what would have been. You would have just done it. So I think that he's perfectly reasonable and sound in his decision-making. Let me say this, though.
Yeah, he's not Myles Garrett.
This type of group, it does get me a little excited and makes me want to say a couple of irresponsible things. Like Bazana, great leadoff hitter, definitely worth the number 1 overall pick. I think for a lot of people, definitely worth the number 1 overall pick here, at least here. DeLauder, if they can go and get through, Manzardo also coming around as well, for crying out loud. If you can get through the ebbs and flows as a very young player, like I do wonder about, I know DeLauder started his career in the postseason. Bazana will, this is a postseason team right now, and I think that they will be a postseason team unless horrendous injuries happen down the stretch. This is a postseason team. If they can hit their stride at the right point, I feel there's so much less pressure. There could be so much less pressure on Jose Ramirez than we've seen ever in his career. Because the last time that he had any help was Francisco Lindor, and it was the same thing. You might have put a little bit with Edwin Encarnacion, but then he got banged up in the postseason, so that took a little bit off. But there's been so much pressure on him, and I'm just trying to, because if you had any protection in the lineup, I think you get a so much better Jose in the postseason. And I'm thinking that maybe we can get this protection in the lineup because of Bazana, because of DeLauder. And the postseason is a different animal. It just makes me start to really fantasize about what the lineup could be in the postseason.
Yeah, we've been dreaming of something like that forever. And I know as Manzardo's gone up here, DeLauder's been slumping again. But, you feel like you finally have some true threats in the lineup.
Yeah.
And still, given that, you're still going to be underdogs, right? Like, if you go to the postseason and all that.
Play the Yankees, but it happens.
You do feel like you actually have a fighting chance, as long as everybody stays healthy and the rotation remains the rotation and that, hey, it'd be nice if Bobby would get some run support, actually. It's pretty ridiculous at this stage. What his record is compared to how he's pitched. But you feel like they've got a fighting chance. And not just it's baseball fighting chance. Mm-hmm. Like an actual, we can actually stress opposing aces.
No.
We can get guys, because think about the pitchers they've gone up against this year and how they fared. It's actually been way better.
Well,
than
these first
in
2 pitches,
years.
I mean, Cam Schlitter is the leader for the Cy Young. You touched him up yesterday.
You're the first team to get to him.
I know Garrett Cole's coming off of Tommy John, but he went 12 scoreless innings coming back from Tommy John. You got him yesterday. Like you've been able to hit these guys, and you've been able to do a good job of it. And then the guys who've started to settle in and settle down. I know Bibby's an 0-for right now. He doesn't deserve to have 0 wins in the 2026 season.
And it almost seems like a bit now. Like, you're almost going for the bit. Like, how long can we have a great pitcher go winless.
But I'm just looking at with the exception of
with
the exception of 2 outings. One was recent, the other one was Atlanta back in April. Yeah, with the exception of 2 outings, I think he's turned it and become a great pitcher. We know what we think of Messick. We know what we think of Gavin Williams, because once you get past the first inning, he gets around to the second time in the order, and then he shuts everybody down. So you got 1, 2, and 3 fantastic pitching. I got Cantillo, who can eat up some innings. I know some people have been worried about him over the last couple outings. I'm not. He is what he is. He's a fighter. And then if I have this lineup, it makes me start to look at it with a little irresponsibility and a little bit more excitement than usually just, all right, let's see what we do in the postseason, and it's a fighting chance because it's baseball.
Well,
is the point there.
And these guys, their patience, they are up there, and that doesn't mean they're not aggressive. It's not mutually exclusive here. Like, they can be aggressive when need be, but they're also showing that they can work pitchers and drain other teams. Can you imagine in a series if they can still maintain this watchful eye that they've had and show that patience? Like what you are doing. We always talk about what other teams do to our pen and how incredibly taxed, especially with Tito when he was our manager, but how taxed we were. Well, we had the opportunity to finally do that to other teams in a way that we just didn't previously before these young guys and before this system-wide approach that it seems like they've adopted.
Also, I would like to thank Andre Schmidt for teaching me that valuable lesson, because I've been very patient with Cade Smith because of Andre Schmidt over last season, and Cade Smith's the American League reliever of the month.
Well, how are you feeling? Of course, he had just gotten the reliever of the month. How are you feeling about him yesterday in the ninth?
Win the game? Did we win the game? Won the game.
No, I'm asking, how did you feel? Now, once the game was over and they squeezed that third and final out, I'm asking how you were feeling when there was a bit of traffic.
Felt fine, Tone, because I had the volume down on that game because thanks to you, I was watching the NBA Finals as well, so I didn't have to sit there and get all worked up. Put full faith and confidence in Cade Smith, everybody. Full faith and confidence in the young man. I tell no lies over here. Full faith and confidence in Carson Schlesinger, I think, for a lot of fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
Keith Britton noticed something here. I'm going to put it right on him, but I kind of wondered if he had a point. Carson Schlesinger was asked about the Myles Garrett trade yesterday. This was Carson Schlesinger's answer.
I mean, you're obviously, you know nothing about it, and so you have a little bit of surprise, but, when you find it out, especially with the player, with Jared coming in, I think we're getting a great player, and, at the end of the day, we go ahead and focus on the 11 that we're putting out on defense, and so I'm looking forward to being able to get to work with him and get him in this defense and get rolling.
That's Carson Schlesinger on it. Alex Wright was asked about it yesterday. Here's Alex Wright and his first reaction on things.
I mean, I was shocked just like everybody else. Didn't want to believe it. Family calling me, players calling me, friends calling me, still trying to process it today. But also, I just don't run from the feeling that, 9-5 is gone. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it kind of got a little personal with me, especially being in the football business, because, I grew up here. I grew up with him, like just going into my 5th year with him. So I just pretty much used him as a sponge, really. So, but, as soon as the days go by and coming out here and just working and just realizing he's not going to be here, somebody got to take control. Like, somebody has to take charge. We're still going to work and be a top defense. At the end of the day, it's bittersweet. It's sad. It's messed up. But at the same time, we got to keep rolling.
That's Alex Wright. Did you notice? Keith noticed that, and I want to know if you're thinking the same thing, or is he being a little nitpicky here? Because I go, that is interesting. Did you see any were there any social media messages?
Are you asking, was there an outpouring of support with Myles getting traded, the biggest deal in the NFL?
No, there's 2 explanations to this.
I did not really see that, no.
There is one valid explanation, and then there's the other part of it, which I kind of want to get into. Is the first part is that, Carson Schlesinger went on. Okay, here we go. Here's the one clip about Carson Schlesinger I wanted to get to, and I didn't know if John had it. Go ahead.
Just to go back to the trade for a second on Monday, how did you find out? Where were you? That sort of thing.
We were at the golf outing, I think, when everyone found out. So, I mean, obviously it's news at break, but I was excited to golf, so I was kind of trying to figure out how to fix my slice the whole time. That was at the forefront of my mind.
Think about that for just one moment, but is there one part of it where you are getting a player back, so you don't want to sit there and go, oh, my God, woe is us? You are getting a very good player back. The other thing is, Keith wondered, are they that broken up over it?
Doesn't sound like it to me.
Well, the 2 defensive players that were talked to yesterday, Alex Wright, Carson Schlesinger, were both asked if they sent a text, and they both said, no, not yet. We figure he's probably busy right now, getting a ton of texts.
I know Dodgers fans in L.A. hate this show and hate you and I, Owen. I don't think they care about you very much right now. But I imagine a lot of Dodgers fans are also Rams fans.
Our cheaters going to jail.
Will they see clips of this
or better
and say that we are just coping with this? Because I didn't see a big outpouring of, oh my gosh, like I didn't.
Yeah, well, no,
I think Keith kind of had a point there.
They don't need a leader over there. They don't, especially if Aaron Donald comes back. Like they don't need Miles to be something that we needed him to be on a losing team. They're just like, come in and go get quarterback. I know that our fans would always tell me persistently, Anthony, shut up about all this leadership stuff and all this culture stuff and all this OTA stuff.
I wanted to look the other way.
It's go get quarterback. And I'm like, yeah, we know he can do that. Our other guys might need something more. And now I think with him out, and you saw Verse coming in, and Quincy Williams, another guy who is coming in, who is a vocal guy. Now you have some young and some old with Carson Schlesinger, kind of the face of the defense. Like, I do think you have the dynamics of a real culture. That doesn't mean they're going to be a better defense. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But there are certain elements to anybody who's been involved in a team in any capacity. If you have 22 guys who it's just see quarterback, get quarterback, see ball, catch ball, like that team is going to come up short in a lot of ways. You need more than that. You need resiliency. You need something that bleeds over. Culture is something we all talk about as an amorphous concept, but you know it when you don't see it. And guys, that defense might have been special. They might have had their choreographed dances, and they might have had their job made easier because Myles Garrett was so great. But they didn't necessarily ever feel like a team. They just didn't.
The Alex Wright clips that we've played on the station since, they stick out to me because he will admit he's done a lot of growing up here over the last few years, and he has become such a interesting person. And to hear him talk about him, where I know he cares about Myles Garrett, and I know that he respects Myles, but to hear it like he's part of the future, Carson Schlesinger is part of the future, and because I didn't even notice, and Keith noticed, and it made me kind of wonder, like, is it a little bit of a relief that maybe it's a little bit more streamlined now, that you can you can't replace that type of production. You can't replace iconic play like that. So we're not even going to try to talk about that. But when it comes to setting the tone for a culture, I wonder if it's a little bit of relief. You don't have to answer questions about who's here, who's not, what's going on, what's not, these type of things. It helps streamline part of the process. I want to know what Mary Kay Cabot thinks about that. She's in 5 minutes on The Fan.
Real
on the Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
You're having a birthday party for your wife. You're having a great big evening.
That's a whole month.
And the brother-in-law wants to throw in. How much are you willing to take? That at 9:20. Mary Kay Cabot joins us right now because it's 8:20 and she joins us right now on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, call Kyle Wright hotline. Mary Kay, good morning to you. Because of Myles Garrett being traded, do you think there's been a change in who the leader in the clubhouse is to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in 2026?
You know, that's a great question. There did seem to be somewhat of a paradigm shift yesterday in terms of the reps and the messaging. But every time we think we can draw a conclusion, then they go and they change up the reps the next day. I was told that on Tuesday of this week that Deshaun Watson got all or most of the key first-team reps. And then when we were out there yesterday, Shedeur got those. What will happen today, I'm not really sure. I'm also told that it'll revert back to Deshaun today getting most of those, but I don't know that for sure yet. But it did seem like in terms of Todd's messaging, it seemed a bit different yesterday. I don't know if there is some thought or discussion now in the organization of perhaps maybe going young at quarterback now, where it really did seem throughout this whole offseason program that Deshaun Watson was in the lead and they were going to go out and be determined to win as many games as they can. Now Todd is saying, I go back and forth every day and we've got two starters. So the messaging, in my opinion, was vastly different yesterday.
When you hear the head coach following a day like yesterday where it seemed like, and you were there, so you can talk to this if you must, but it seemed like Shedeur was maybe the first day he's unequivocally had a better day than Deshaun Watson. And afterwards, coach seemed to say, hey, we have two NFL starting caliber quarterbacks. Is that your read on this, or is he just building them up? If this might have been another coach, would they say this has not been so good? How would you evaluate that?
Well, I didn't think it was a great day on the part of either of the two quarterbacks. I thought there were a lot of balls on the ground, a lot of missed passes. Shedeur had some delay of game penalties. So there were some procedural things, and it looked a little sloppy, I thought, for the most part. But when it came time to, making some big plays, Shedeur pulled it out in the end with that bomb to Isaiah Bond. But he had a couple of other nice plays, too. So, he had 3 touchdown passes on the day, no interceptions. Deshaun seemed a bit off yesterday for whatever reason, but sometimes you have a day like that. He ended up with 2 touchdown passes, 1 interception, but some of those things happen in 7-on-7s, and there are just so many things that you can't determine in these practices. I heard Dan Campbell the other day saying that, these guys are out there in their pajamas working out, and this doesn't mean that much to me. Well, you can glean some things from these practices, but I don't think you can get an accurate barometer or gauge on exactly who can best win a game for you.
Mary Kay, we know what the coach has said prior about wanting to solidify a depth chart, earlier rather than later, here after OTAs. Have you changed your mind at all? Do you think he will name a starter, or do you think it'll remain ambiguous heading into training camp?
Well, at the golf outing on Monday at Firestone, he made it clear that even if he had his own QB depth chart set in his mind by the end of minicamp next week, he wasn't necessarily going to announce it. I think they were still working through a strategy about that. I do believe that Deshaun Watson is going to talk at some point next week, so that will be the first time we hear from him since he ruptured that Achilles in October of 2024. But I don't know if Todd is going to be ready to say, hey, our QB depth chart is such and such. I actually think now he's backing off of that and hedging on that And I don't know if they're going to do that or not.
Why do you think he might be backing off of that and hedging on that then?
Well, he mentioned yesterday we haven't seen them in pads. We haven't seen them, against full competition. They never went against Myles Garrett. Now they're going to have to go against Jared Verse, which they haven't done that yet. It just hasn't been a 100% full defense. The receivers haven't even gone against Denzel Ward yet. Some of these touchdown passes that you're seeing are against guys that may or may not be on the team this season. So they don't have has come on so strong in the last few weeks that it's making them think, maybe we should see what he can do in training camp before we decide that perhaps Deshaun Watson might be QB1 on the depth chart. I think he's just worked so hard and done such a nice job and maybe even surprised them in some ways that I think they're kind of backing off that a bit.
Whoa!
That changes everything, Mary Kay.
You bet your ass, Tone, it does. That'd be pretty amazing. Mary Kay, can I ask you, who do you want to start week 1? Do you have a decision made in your head yet?
She's gonna say Dylan Gabriel. Come on.
No, I don't. I don't, and I never have. Even back when I said that I thought that they should name Deshaun QB1 on the depth chart for OTAs and minicamp, I said that because I think that it's good to get the 11 working together. But that's got to be your best 11, whoever that is. And if it's Shedeur, then he's got to be getting most of the reps. If it's Deshaun, he's got to be getting most of the reps. So, no, I don't have a dog in the race in terms of who I think or would want to start. I think that they should start the quarterback who actually does give them the best chance to win. And I don't know how they're really going to know that. I don't really know how they're exactly going to know that because even the preseason games, nobody's game planning for you. Nobody is, spending a week burning the midnight oil trying to figure out how to take away what you do best. And we just aren't going to know who.
Did your win total for the Browns change when Myles Garrett was traded?
No, I don't think so. Here's what I believe about the win total. In my mind, and it's always been this way for me, the win total for the most part is going to come down to the quarterback play. Look, they won 8 games in the last 2 years with Myles having some of the best seasons of his entire career. And it didn't really matter all that much in terms of the win total. So for my money, it's the quarterback. You're not going to be a successful football team unless you get really good quarterback play. And if they can get that this year from whoever, then I think they have a chance to win some games. It's a very, very young team, and it's going to have to come together. But I think Todd Monken can scheme it up in such a way that they can run the ball well with Quinshon Judkins, providing this line is what they hope it is. But it looks like they should be able to run the ball. You know that they have a great tight end in Harold Fannin. They've got the new young receivers. So it's all new and different. But as long as you have the quarterback to knit it all together, then I think they can flirt with potentially 8 games. And maybe that sounds crazy. But if you get really good quarterback play, maybe you could even flirt with a wild card berth into December.
Mary Kay joining us. Wow, the outpouring of support for Myles Garrett from so many of his Browns. Oh, that's right. I haven't really seen that. Should we read into the fact that they just kind of went on with their lives the minute after the best Brown in my lifetime got traded?
Well, let me say this about the subtraction of Myles Garrett and the addition of Jared Verse. Sitting there in that press conference yesterday and listening to Jared Verse talk, I really think he's going to be a unifier on this team. I think he is going to fit in perfectly with these young guys. I think he's going to be more of a team leader than Myles Garrett was because as phenomenal as Myles was on the field, I don't think very many people would say that he was a great team leader while he was here with the Cleveland Browns. I think that that Jared Verse is probably going to be more of a vocal leader, and he may be better for this young defense and for this young team. So I think there are some things for fans and for the players on this football team to get excited about.
Well, it kind of put me in an impossible spot because I think of myself basically, just a fan with a mic. And I just want the Browns to have talent and win. And I know that, checking your messages and stuff during a team meeting, that ain't great leadership. Not being a vocal guy. Anthony Walker Jr. and Rodney McLeod and all those other guys talking, that's not great leadership. We got to call it what it is. And I guess I'm going to sacrifice some of the great play for some leadership because, damn it, he's a fine player. Obviously, he could end up being the greatest to ever do it. But he's going into a situation that does have leadership, and we've been trying to get leadership out of him to the point where Jimmy Haslam had to talk about it, Mary Kay, after they signed him to that contract last year. And I'm not trying to rip him. He's a great player, not a bad guy whatsoever. But damn it, it's got to be a little bit frustrating if you are one of the younger guys on that defense and you're trying to build a culture. And, yeah, you got this player, and he's not a bad guy, but he's not the very best teammate when it comes to that stuff. And it just makes your job harder if you're Schlesinger and all those other guys.
Well, I think a lot of things had to be about Miles, and probably rightfully so. I mean, he has Lawrence Taylor status. Those guys, they get their own set of rules and things like that. But now they have a player who not only is going to be able to get you the pressures and be dominant off that side of the ball, but he's also going to bring, once again, that leadership, that connectivity, that camaraderie that I think this young football team is going to need right now. And he's the kind of guy, in my opinion, that Todd Monken is absolutely going to love. Todd wants guys that look like they're having an absolute blast doing an individual drill in the middle of OTAs, and that they want to show up and they want to be here and they just love ball. Those are his kind of guys. That's what you're going to see from Jared Verse. He talked about it yesterday, how he's all about the work. And Miles hasn't been here for OTAs, and he wasn't here last year for OTAs, and it didn't prevent him from being the best defensive player in the NFL. But there is something about team building, and I think Verse is going to be great for that.
I have a very short amount of time. I got 3 questions I still have to ask you. Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, call Kyle Wright hotline. If Jim Schwartz were still here, if Jim Schwartz were the head coach, would Myles Garrett still be here?
Possibly, yeah. I think there's a pretty good chance. We saw we saw his reaction with the fast food worker with the head hanging down when he walked out of the building.
All right. What are the chances that Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit are here past the trade deadline?
I'm not going to be definitive about that because I was wrong about Myles Garrett when you asked me that last week. I think it was last week.
That's fine. So I'm wrong all the time.
I don't know. And that happened, of course, because Jared Verse was thrown into the deal. That trade was not happening if they didn't get Jared Verse. So in terms of Denzel and Grant, it's hard to say right now. I'm anxious to hear how Denzel feels about this trade, and we just haven't heard that yet.
All right, Mary Kay, it appears that Todd Monken is amenable to conversing with Deion Sanders. We got into a brawl in studio about maybe the former coach, whether that was his responsibility to meet with Deion at some point to talk Shador and just talk ball in general. What do you make of this? Do you have any issues whatsoever? And is this something that you think is actually going to happen?
Yes, I do think it is something that's actually going to happen. I mean, Deion has said he wants it to happen, and now Todd Monken openly embraces the idea. And why not? It's Deion Sanders. Why would you not take him up on that opportunity? It's a conversation, and maybe you can glean some things about a player who has been coached by his dad since he was in youth football. So absolutely. I mean, Deion has that kind of status where you would 100% give him that grace, and Todd is excited to do it.
So do you think Kevin Stefanski made a mistake? Because we don't know that it seemed like they did not talk last year when Shador came in, was drafted in the 5th round, and was the 4th-string quarterback.
Well, I don't know if it was, if it was made public that Deion wanted to have that conversation or not, So I can't say that, Deion asked for it and Kevin said, no, I'm not doing that. I think it was probably one of those things where maybe Kevin would have just had to reach out and initiate that or something. But I certainly don't think that Kevin would have completely turned his back on that type of conversation.
All right, Mary Kay, we thank you so much for the time. All the very best to you and yours. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Mary Kay Cabot on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. Tone, I want people to call in.
Said Shador's surging.
But don't call it a comeback, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. It's just getting good on the fan.
XTENDAV.com. Extend Technologies, folks, celebrating 25 years.
I think Shedeur has come on so strong in the last few weeks that it's making them think, maybe we should see what he can do in training camp before we decide that perhaps Deshaun Watson might be QB1 on the depth chart. I think he's just worked so hard and done such a nice job and maybe even surprised them in some ways that I think they're kind of backing off that a bit.
Mary Kay Cabot saying, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Hold your horses, cool your jets on the Deshaun Watson starting conversation. I love it. I love it.
Well, the fact
I
that
absolutely love it.
Well, listen, you did want to hear from somebody. Now that's just Mary Kay, and we'll talk to everybody. And in the end, ultimately, the only thing that matters apparently is Todd Monken or his superiors, and obviously that's a question we'll have after the fact. But you do want to hear that somebody is gaining some kind of momentum.
Well,
now, we had basically heard. Let's put the cards on the table. We've heard that neither have looked good, but Watson has looked better.
Yeah, kind of.
Up until yesterday was the first day that anybody said that across the board, Shedeur was better. Now, Mary Kay did add in neither were that good yesterday. So we did have the good pass to Bond that everybody talked about. We saw the interception in 7-on-7s that, Watson threw. But in the end, you want to hear that somebody is making some waves. And Mary Kay said, hey, looks like Shedeur over the last week and a half has made up some ground.
You dumped a little cold water on what I was going to do. Still got to do it, though.
Which is?
Coach Lance texted me. Today is his last day ever as a teacher. A little bit of senioritis over there. Congratulations,
foot
Coach
out the
Lance.
door.
Yeah, the old foot out the door
Foot
day.
out the homeroom.
You ready to hear this?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I asked him if I could read it on there. He said, yep. From Coach Lance. For me, yesterday was his best day. He's talking about Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, good.
Here we go. For me, yesterday was his best day. His footwork is improving, and he made some impactful plays down the field. I want him to earn the spot, not be given. I thought Watson has been better through the spring until yesterday.
Yeah, that's kind of what we had seen and what we had heard.
I'm hoping.
From those that have been there.
I'm hoping. I mean, that's what you want, isn't it?
I think so.
I know that there's going to be a lot of fuddy-duddies out there who've been spending too much time on social media with the Shedeurians, and they're going to roll their eyes, and they're upset. Hey, may the best QB win. All right? I don't hold a grudge towards any quarterback. May the best QB win. I want them to go and do good things, all right? But if they make the playoffs, I'll talk about if they do it with Deshaun Watson, I'll talk about extensions and things like that. Fine, I'm open-minded. But come on, we want to move forward. You want to move forward. I want to play the music. I want you to play the damn music right now. I thought this was a given that it was going to be Shedeur's job, and I'm hearing great things, and you are withholding on me, and I'm upset. I want to be relieved. Let me do it.
No, you thought it was
Let me
a given.
be excited.
You thought it was given that'd be Watson's
Oh,
job.
and I say Shedeur?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a given that it was Deshaun Watson's job. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. I'm talking about Shedeur possibly getting the job now, so I hate to say it. Like, guys, I understand. Your starting quarterback for the future is, I'm about 90% sure, playing college football this year. Or, just because it's a whole other ball of wax, or was in a courtroom over the week. One of the two. All right? But come on, give me something that I can try to get excited about for the future. Come on, give me something. Because all the other guy does right now, he reminds me of bad times.
Of course.
He reminds me of why you traded Myles Garrett. It reminds me why Joel Bitonio is going to be left with just a couple of playoff appearances, and that's it. It reminds me about all the people doing their victory laps who were Baker Bros, quote unquote, saying that's what that reminds me of. I don't want to be reminded of that. I want to move forward with this football team as best I possibly can. If we're not going to be that great this year, make it mean something. Last year it was make it forgettable. This year, make it worth my while. Worth the Browns fans' while. If he goes out there and he sucks up the room, fine. And I agree with Coach Lance. I want him to earn it. All right? I don't just want it to be handed to him. I said, the best QB, so be it. So be it. And I won't sit here and be all frowny-faced and sad bastard because Deshaun Watson wins the quarterback competition, all right? I won't do that. But damn, I want someone to look forward to because I just don't think it's going to work out well with Deshaun Watson. And I want somebody who, I don't know if it gets me excited, just something that gives me a chance to look forward to something.
Well, if you heard Todd Monken.
That's what I want.
If you heard Todd Monken, we're not anticipating this, but in a week, when this is done and we conclude until the real thing starts up in terms of training camp, if you heard him come out and say, I have named Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, that'll get people excited.
Then you'll get your music. Ken.
Then you'll get the music, I think, for sure.
Give me the music.
This is a start, right?
No, forget it.
He was better for one day, and you
right.
want the music already? Let's not put
We've played it for less, and you know that.
Yeah, and look where we are today.
Oh, so now we want to have a standard? Oh, since Miles is traded, we're trying to have standards of culture in the locker room. Now we have to have a standard of culture? Okay, fine.
I just think good for him, and, we've got to focus on ourselves and get ready for this season.
This is where I'm at in the quarterback race, guys. It's not that I think Shedeur is overwhelmingly better. I just want him to win the job. I'm not going to have a fight with you and go, Shedeur's better for this, that, and the other reasons. There's a lot of football reasons where if I were the head coach, I'd go, yeah, the veteran's going to have a better grip on the offense. He's been a top 15 pick before, first rounder before. I don't care about the money. The money's the money. It don't matter to me. I want the best guy to win. But there's plenty of reasons why Deshaun Watson would be the leader. But you know who I want, and I just think it would be much more interesting. If we don't think we're going to go very far this year, then I want somebody who I can have a fighting chance with for the future. Because once the other guy's done, he's done. If you're winning 6 games with Deshaun Watson, bye-bye. If you're winning 8, 9, 10 games with Deshaun Watson, we'll talk about it. If you're winning 8, 9, 10 games about Shedeur, I don't know if there's anything to talk about. Maybe 8 or 9 probably ain't there with either quarterback. But if you're winning 9, I don't know. Well, if you can make the wild card with 9 wins. If you're a playoff team or borderline playoff team, I guess we'll have a conversation about either or, but certainly with Shedeur. So that's where I'm at. I just want to have somebody I want to be excited about, Just
needs to, we always say, stack wins. He needs to stack days.
That's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. Coming up at 9:20. This is a birthday month for her.
Might be a year. You might get the whole year. I don't know.
The brother-in-law wants to cut you off some paper. Are you taking his money? And, Lima, you wanted to do it? I think this is the right call. We're taking this slow with Todd. I think we should heed that advice and probably take it slow with Jared Verse as well. We hear from Jared coming up in 5 on The Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Fan.
every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I'm out here to fill in on shoes. Miles, he's a size 13, Nikes, whatever they are. I'm a size, 13 and a half, size 14 Jordans. Like, everybody's different. I'm not here to fill his shoes. I'm here to bring my own. I buy my own. I'm here to work, and I'm here to be the best version of me. The best version of me is going to be the best defensive player in the league. And the best defensive player in the league is going to play for the best defense in the league. And that's why I make myself testament to.
Jared Verse, hard-ass conversations. Love it.
We're not talking about hitting the ground running.
Love it, babe. Love it.
A honeymoon period. Fans are ready. Fans are ready for this dude.
Took a couple days. Because I had to think about it for a second, guys. I'm going, man, this was a big hit. And I felt they don't feel that they can be competitive. That's why they made the trade. I'm like, Jared Verse is good. And Myles Garrett won a game. Now, I don't know how many games we're going to win just because Jared Verse walks out there on the field, right? You did win the game. It's proof positive. You beat the Pittsburgh Steelers because he walked out there on the field. Myles did. I don't know how many games you're going to win just because he walks out of the field, but he certainly helps. Well, maybe my win total ain't that bad after all. I was saying 7 before. I'll bump it down to 6. It's the one game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That gets eliminated. I'll bump her down to 6. And maybe I'm still being a little bit too overzealous for everybody. Maybe I'm a little bit too much of a homer for everybody. Okay? Pull back expectations about Jared Verse so we don't get overwhelmingly disappointed about who's still a good player. Like if I'm saying 10 sacks is great, but we're used to 16 at a minimum. Is that wrong to be that excited? Because when people hear something like this from Greg Beacham of the Associated Press in Los Angeles with Jake Volnick last night, this is going to put a lot of pressure on our new pass rusher.
I think he can be one of the 5 or 10 best pass rushers in the NFL, just depends on what kind of role they want to have him in there. I think he already was one of the 10 best pass rushers in the NFL, just because, like I said, the Zacks don't tell you the whole story. He's constantly there. He's constantly working on his technique. He's constantly getting better and learning little things to do. It'll all depend on the guys around him. You cannot just generate stuff by yourself in the NFL, and he'll have to have teammates that are doing a good job. And I think they're building a good base of a defense there. We'll know for sure in a couple of years. Coincidentally, when he'll be up for his big contract, you'll have a better picture of what he is and what he deserves to get. But I think he's absolutely going to be one of the best pass rushers in the NFL if he's not already. I mean, he's not Myles Garrett, but there is only one Myles Garrett. There's nobody else like him in our generation. Aaron Donald is a completely different athlete. Aaron Donald put up great numbers. Myles Garrett is a better pure pass rusher than that. And then if you look in the second tier, Jared Verse has all the ingredients necessary to be one of the best guys in the NFL. The Browns took a downgrade as anybody would when you trade Myles Garrett. They did not take that much of a downgrade compared to what they could have in terms of this deal.
See, I hear that, and I wonder by the end of the interview if Jake could have talked him into being better than Myles Garrett. Because that was some strong commentary about Jared Verse. And he did. He said these great things, then he walks it back. And I think a lot of us are doing that. Like, you cover football, you're a radio show host. This room knew who Jared Verse was. So when you hear about Jared Verse, it's like, well, you know what? You could have done a hell of a lot worse getting him back. But getting somebody else, and you got him back. He's a great player. He's young. He's 25 years old. My whole goal turned into, and it wasn't immediate, I had to pick myself up about the Myles stuff, I'll be honest, but my reaction to it was, let's not waste his time now. Or our time with Jared Verse now, I should say, because you're going to sign him to a contract next year, almost no matter what happens. You're going to sign him to a contract next year because you can't sign him now. He should be here for the next 6 years, you're thinking, 6 seasons. We got 6 seasons to get this thing, to not waste our time with Jared Verse, because this guy, he seems to be the entire package of what we wanted. We wanted Myles to be more of a leader. This guy seems to be a leader. We wanted Myles to be more in tune with the locker room. That's where it is. He might give up a sack or two, but you know what? If we're better in the end and we're more accountable in the end, we're still going to go to a better place than where we've been. And that's, I think, the Jared Verse difference here. I'm not just hiring a speech guy. I'm not hiring just an orator for my football team. He's a great player. He's a great player. But I happen to agree with you because I'm the one who's saying when it comes to Todd, because I like this comparison here, I'm going, man, I hope the honeymoon lasts forever. I'm not ready to start the season because when I start the season now, I got to start judging him.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, listening to Mary Kay, and you can go back and listen to that interview on the free Odyssey app, which is brought to you by Integrated Restoration. The Rewind feature is brought to you by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. One of the questions I was going to ask Mary Kay when she started talking about Shedeur Sanders starting to raise his level of play throughout, and Todd Monken kind of hedge. I go, well, if he's throwing, because part of Mary Kay's answer was he's throwing to lesser wide receivers and a lot of guys who aren't going to probably make the team, right? And my thought is, he's been around football forever. Why didn't he think about that before he said those statements? And then Mary Kay answered it before he even got the question to ask, where he's just naturally this week come along very strong, and that's nice. And that's part of that thought that I'm going to have to flip a switch, and so are fans, where we stop just listening to the tough talk, and you got to put it out there in the field. And already you notice I'm changing expectations here with this football team with what I see on the field and how I judge this football team with Todd Monken.
Yeah, what's interesting, though, everybody does the same thing when they're talking about verse. They start out by qualifying their statement. They preface every verse statement with, now we know he's not Myles Garrett. And then they proceed to say things as if he's Myles Garrett. I even saw yesterday, Daryl put out a tweet. I couldn't even keep track of him. He was so fast. He burst out of my camera angle. And I'm like, all right, guys, we know what the best of all time is, or the best, the Browns defensive player all time, and we know what one of the best to ever put on a uniform, what it looks like with Myles Garrett. I would not expect, verse to be hitting all those markers. Mm-hmm. I would just say this, though. You don't have to. Like, this trade, I know for the very, very most basic analysis would be to gauge him against Myles Garrett straight up. That's not whether this trade is successful. Because I'll just save you the time and energy. He's not going to be Myles Garrett. He's not. He's going to fall short of being Myles Garrett. That's not whether they won this trade. And yeah, there are ways that both teams can win this trade where he helps the Rams win the Super Bowl and the Browns use this trade to build a better team. A better team, not just a team that has Myles Garrett and a bunch of other guys that win 3 to 4 to 5 games every year. It's to build a better team over the long haul that has its own culture, that has its own rallying cry around a new head coach and maybe leads to a quarterback and all that stuff. That's how you gauge this trade. I don't think you have to sit there and go, oh, he got a sack. Okay, is he on pace for more sacks than Myles Garrett? No, because they didn't just trade him.
Well, you're going to have to keep saying that because a lot of people are going to do that.
But that's not the trade. The trade isn't Myles Garrett for Jared Verse. They would never make that trade.
No.
The trade is for a new beginning. It's for so much more than just Myles Garrett. And I know immediately everybody crushed the trade. And you're right. 3 days later, I'm seeing so many Browns fans that are like, actually, maybe, and a bunch of the analytics people, and I know we've gone in on that.
See, I told you. They always tell you good news. You got to go find it.
They are loving this trade.
And it probably, you were going to get a return back. I think a lot of us just thought it was going to be for picks. And that's all it was going to be. That's why I do think that some of the guys have been a little bit quieter on some of the stuff on social media. Like, yeah, I'm sure they're guys who they're friendly with Myles Garrett. They may like Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is not the heart and soul of this football team. I'm sorry, that's a lie that
never was.
That we have been trying to get to be the truth for such a long time.
Nor do I even think he ever wanted to be.
But I also know that there's teammates in there. They can't be sitting there falling over themselves with the loss of Myles Garrett because you got another teammate coming in and you got to be welcoming to him. And I think Carson Schlesinger has played this well. I think Alex Wright has played this well. I really do. I know what Keith noticed before, and I think Keith has a point, but I think they've done this the right way. But with Jared Verse, I think that expectations thing that you bring up, I think that is the right thing. Because already, to make ourselves feel better, we're putting the side-by-side of them at their ages of where they're at statistically. And so you can't tell me that people aren't going to be sitting there watching going, if Jared Verse starts off the first month of the season with the first 4 games, and he has 7 sacks, and somehow 7 sacks is quite a lot. If he has 4 sacks in 4 games and Myles Garrett only has 3 sacks some way, somehow, you know damn well there's going to be a lot of champions posing going on.
That would be fun.
And that would be fun.
I'll sit here and go, oh, boy.
But you got to take the good with the bad here because you did just say we can't be making dollars to donuts comparisons over here.
Well, and, the other part of this is, too, Myles at some point is going to slow down. I don't know when that is because it sure as hell wasn't last year. But at some point, you got to factor that in, too. Even if you hated this trade, there has to be some expectation that Myles is not always going to be Myles. The question is, when is that? Is that part of the Browns' thinking, too? That where is Myles going to be 2 years from now? Where is he going to be 4 years from now? Was Myles also going to hit us up for a new contract? Were we also going to have to make him the highest paid non-quarterback? Were we going to have to pay him as much as some of the starting quarterbacks in the league? What sense does that make on a rebuilding roster?
Looking at probably You're looking at a $100 million contract next year with Jared Verse, which, again, if you're looking at 10-plus sacks, I'm hoping 10. I'd like to lay that as the platform with this defense if I'm looking at 10-plus sacks. Now, and maybe that'll change depending on what other moves they make. Let's be serious here. But if you have that, then I think that I got no problem in looking at him as part of this future because, again, he's been in 2 seasons in his NFL career. He's already played more playoff games than Miles. So we know he's a very important piece, but we know what the more important piece really is. And hopefully we can finally get this thing going in a respectable direction because it did alarm me where our whole world revolved around Myles Garrett. But when Miles Simmons is on with us from Pro Football Talk yesterday and said because he lives in Los Angeles, he's getting texts from people saying about Myles Garrett they didn't know. You're telling me Bill Simmons could not pick Myles Garrett out of a lineup?
Yeah, right.
That's what Bill Simmons said?
That's what he was saying. That's how some people have talked about his lack of star power for somebody who is as good as he is.
It's this simple. You got to have the QB for everybody else to get noticed. They've had the QB in Los Angeles. Aaron Donald, you could pick Aaron Donald out of any lineup. You could describe Aaron Donald in your sleep. Is it the same thing if Aaron Donald played in a lot of other cities that were looking for quarterbacks? Probably not. Probably he's a football guy's favorite player, just like Miles is. So now that Jared Verse is one of the football guy's favorite player, and more people do know about him because he does play in L.A. with a good quarterback. Here he did. Now you got to go find your guy. So I think your reaction to this is responsible, and that's what I'm going to try to be all year. 216-474-0092. I want to get to some of you guys on this, obviously, but you're throwing a big shindig for... She's not listening, right?
No.
You're throwing a big shindig for your wife. Brother-in-law wants to toss in. You didn't ask him. What's appropriate? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
but just 6 of 21 from the floor. Game 2 tomorrow night again in San Antonio. Listen to The Fan Rewind, weeknights 11 to midnight. All the best segments from all our shows. You can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Month for Sarah Ono. Browns ain't going anywhere. We'll get back to him in the Jared Verse conversation. I think it's great. What are your expectations now for Jared Verse? Because you don't want to be disappointed at all, and it could end up still being a tough year. We're not out of the woods with the offense. We'll get back to that here in a moment. Big month for Sarah Ono. You guys already went to Newport, Rhode Island.
Yep,
Lima
that was just the start.
You had a caviar cone in Newport, Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah, right on the wharf. Incredible.
And now you have what coming up this weekend?
Yeah, we have our winery.
Is today her birthday?
Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, wife.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
And she already noted that the Carman, her running apparatus, right there to track everything, her heart monitor, her VO2 max, all that stuff, that gave her the first happy birthday of the day and not her husband. So,
oh, my God. I feel like Chuck Berry in that video with John Lennon and her. I really am. I am just Chuck Berry staring off into the distance, mad.
We're off to a rough start.
God.
How stupid am I?
What are we supposed to do? Were you supposed to wake her up in the middle of the night and tell her happy birthday?
Happy birthday, go back to sleep.
Tell her you whispered it.
She complains.
I should just said I did that and you didn't wake up.
She makes your life a living hell, according to you. Now, Owen and I only hear one side, and we always remind ourselves when you leave the room, remember, we're only hearing one side.
Is there really another side?
I don't have to remind myself. I look at him. I know what a miserable bastard he is.
Is there really another side?
So anyway, she complains when you wake her up, and then she wanted you to wake her up and wish her happy birthday. All right. Still, it's her birthday. I'm not going to be so nasty. All right? Hey, I'm not going to be that way.
Should have hung a pinata over the bed. That way she knows.
Big weekend here. What do you got?
So we have the actual birthday with some family involved tonight.
That's tonight?
At a local eatery.
Glossy Eyes coming in tomorrow for Tone.
No,
we're going to be coming in hot all day. Sure.
I'm trying to abstain for a while here.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Which is up until Saturday, which is the winery tour and the party bus. And the party bus, as anybody knows who's ever been on a party bus, and we're working with a great company. They actually reached out to you. They're going to be awesome. I can't wait. They're going to decorate the bus and everything.
Reached out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go check some other things.
An awesome outfit. But it's a cost. Like, there's going to be, 15 of us on this party bus, and it's already paid for. I already took care of it. It's done.
Okay.
But I've gotten some texts from her brother, who is in Chino Hills, home of the Ball family, where he lives. He has been hitting me up over the last week saying, hey, I want to chip in. I want to take care of this. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I just haven't given him an actual response. It's all been nonsense. It's all been, I think you should leave clips. It's all just been beating around the bush.
But he keeps asking you to pay you money?
He wants to pay me. First, he wanted to take care of the whole thing. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm the husband.
Oh, you're the husband.
Yeah, I'm not letting you do that. But he feels bad because he's not here. He can't babysit. He can't help out. He can only send gifts around the holidays. Like he does. He feels bad, but that's where his job is. That's where his life is.
Send her a gift. Do you need cash?
No.
It's his sister.
No, but the gift thing is especially for 40, as I've been through this with my sister, it's hard. When you're not around somebody every day, it's hard enough for close family to come up with those gifts. So it always turns into just gift certificate. So he wants to take care of it.
I got the perfect gift for him. He needs to just pay Daryl to come take pictures of her 40th.
That's a good
Problem
one.
is we maxed out the party bus. There's no room for him.
So
unless he wants to drive.
What
get him a
is
scooter?
Let's talk turkey here. What is this night gonna run you here? Saturday night, I take it?
Yeah.
Well, how much this night running you?
Well, just
do some math.
Just the bus alone, we'll put it at 4 digits.
Okay, so we're in for 1,000.
Because it's like 7 hours and then gratuity.
$1,000 for a birthday. I'm not gonna say the age. $1,000 for a special birthday party. Judas.
In addition to the Newport experience, we're
what am I saying? We went to Disney. I just don't know how much we paid. We went to Disney for her 40th, so I don't.
Oh, come on.
That was more than 1,000.
A lot of proclamations about prices of things that I know you have no clue.
Zero. I stopped buying stuff in 2011, man. It's still
just Ken gets a wristband, and he's like, I guess I paid for this.
Yeah.
Here we go. One wristband, please.
Liz laughed her ass off. I called her up. She had me go. I had to go buy stuff at Target one day. Let me just say this real quick. And I got to spend over $100. She's like, yeah. I'm like, it's $6 for this? She goes, yeah. She started laughing her ass off because I didn't know how much some of this stuff was anymore. Anyway, so you're in for $1,000 right now, all right? All right, then what? What's the dinner?
So the dinner is tonight at a local eatery that she enjoys.
You're paying for that dinner too.
But the kids are going to be there, and now her parents are coming, so there might be
certain
some
places have kids eat free.
No, not this one.
Okay.
But there will be some Splitsville involved with the parents.
Okay.
The
So will
in-laws.
that be a nice dance between you and Bernie?
Yeah, there'll be a little.
Okay.
Little. We doing credit
Some
card
gamesmanship?
roulette? Are we
Yeah.
doing in out alligator arms? What are we doing here?
Of course. Put that one on mine. And
Is Mason going to take care of any of this? He has his little.
His birthright.
He has his little Target credit card.
So you didn't meet her early enough. Because when I met mine early enough, they paid for everything because we were dirt poor.
Because you were still a little kid.
Yeah, I was still just a little kid. So
With all sorts of credit card debt and school debt.
Exactly. What are you paying here? What do you think? What do you think it's going to run you here? Let's get down to brass tacks here. Now you were paying $300 a dinner over in Newport,
You're not
Rhode Island.
supposed to-
Just gonna come
we're
out and
not
say it.
supposed
Can
to
you
talk
give
about
me
that.
a
caviar cones can't be cheap.
A broad overview of the type of meal that you'll have.
It's a nicer.
Give us a ballpark.
Yeah,
Come on.
If normally per person we're talking like because we're gonna be drinking
the love of
75 to 100 person.
So that's $500. All right.
All right. Yeah.
500. All right. Now
Well, the kids aren't drinking.
Again, Saturday.
Not yet.
What other costs am I thinking? Give me an estimate.
Well,
all together.
we have the winery and then a couple of bars down there in the falls or whatever. So, we're going down there and
Another 1,000.
I don't think I'm going to be on the hook for all that, am I? Like some of it'll be you go up and you just pay for your
cash bar.
Yeah, pay for your wines. So I don't think I'm going to be on the hook, Major. I'll probably take care of the food.
Depending on the winery,
what are you thinking?
sometimes
700.
If you sign up for the club, you get to drink for free that day. You just got
Maybe I'll just sign up for
bottles
that.
mailed to your house.
700.
No, I think maybe 300.
300. All right.
Okay.
So I got 1,800 altogether. Right?
Yeah.
That's checking out over
What's
here.
give me a fake name for
Well,
the
we
brother.
got the cake too. You got to talk about the cake.
Oh, for the love of God! What's the
Yeah,
cake?
no, what's a Fragapans cake? And I
well.
have no problem mentioning them because they're awesome, and we go with them all the time.
Unpaid testimonial.
Yeah,
I
it
know
is.
I know exactly we're talking.
Oh, it's so good.
That might be a 3-digit.
No.
Come
It's okay. It is. Yeah, you're right. That size one it is. They have the smaller one.
Well, if it's just a
$100 for a birthday
Have
cake.
you seen some of these specialty places? That's
mean,
like nothing
it's
compared to
worth
some
it.
of them. There's
and that's
another
some of the
one.
best cake I've ever
There's another one with a
damn well better.
I'm not going to name the name, but it's a female name, and anybody on the west side would know exactly what it is.
Yep.
And it's north of that, and it's worth it. It's incredible.
Cakes are in the title, and that's great, too.
I just want the DQ ice cream cake. That was rejected. I have the points. I have the points.
Well, it's not your birthday.
You've
It's
been
her birthday.
stocking up on
All right, so we're at
Billy
19.
bars.
You know what? I'm calling it $2,000 altogether. He's in for 2,000. Give me a fake name for the brother-in-law, or give me the real name.
That's
I don't care.
Jake.
Jake.
It's social.
He's
All
an
right.
Ignatius man.
Brother-in-law, Ignatius man, well-to-do. He wants to pay. Do you take any money from your brother-in-law? What kind of relationship do you have
Well,
with the
after you read
brother-in-law?
all that, I kind of want to say, here's my Venmo, Jake.
Well, yeah, but I want to know.
That's the good thing. It's not like he's going to mail you dollar bills in the mail or a check. He can just Venmo it.
Is
And it's
there
there, yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Is there an adversarial relationship with Jake at all?
No,
None.
not at all.
None.
No, in
Okay.
fact, I went to his bachelor party, and remember, I was the guy that knew how to get things in Vegas. So,
And
you brought
let that sit there.
Yeah, that's true.
When Jake is
I
back
had
in
the library books. What are you talking about? I was
that's
able
what
to.
you got. Library
when Jake
books.
is back in the
The
area,
posters.
you guys will go out at some point,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And
We are.
you'll probably take care of something.
Yeah,
at
he's
that point,
coming into
right?
town on for Saturday. Yeah, he's Friday.
So he's coming into town for this?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't tell me he was coming into town. That changes a lot of things
Yeah,
here.
he's coming into town.
All right. So Jake's going to come in and just try to impress everybody with his
No,
big wad of bills, wheeling and dealing? He thinks he's
I
Frank.
think it's okay to take the money, man.
Just take it.
Thinks he's
Like,
Frankie Valli or
it'd
some
be
kind
one
of big
thing
shot.
if you were going, "Hey Jake, I got $2,000 for your sister's birthday, and I can't afford this. I need some help."
In this economy?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
So what do you do, though?
Overextended
216-474-0092.
The fuel alone to get down there.
Do you give him like a whatever you're comfortable with?
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think the ball probably is in his court about, and it already has been. If like a month ago, I got it. Well, I've already paid for it. I didn't know it was a month ago. We hadn't even organized it yet. We hadn't even arranged for the travel.
You also can't Saturday morning call the bus and go, hey, we're going to do this party tonight. You want to come pick us up? Like, it's got to be set up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I got Jim into a you-know-what match for the 40th birthday for you.
That's right, yeah.
And I had no problem losing that one. I actually probably ran it up on purpose for him, but that's a different conversation.
That was a very nice gift.
Oh, we were in for 4 digits for you.
Oh, yeah. That was very nice.
And
they tried to do it anonymous.
Jim was even more.
The thing was they tried to do an anonymous thing to cover the drinks.
Like you wouldn't know. Anyway, but Jim definitely paid a lot more.
Except the owner didn't come right up to me.
You can't give him a number, can you?
That's the thing. I'm not comfortable doing that at all.
What do you do?
The question is, do I just accept whatever he says?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, but then you're judging because now if I got a price at 200 or 2,000, if he gives you 250, you're like, what's 250?
But in my mind, it was zero. Like it was never. It was.
That's what I'm saying.
I was not going to take a dollar for it.
To me, it's either 0 or 1,000.
The whole boat?
No. The whole boat is 2,000.
Oh, you're saying.
I'm saying it's either 0 or half.
A boat, it would have been a lot more.
A good time 3 is going to run you.
0 or a quarter. I'll go that low. I'll go 0 or 500. You're either in for 500 or you're in for 0. Any other number less than 500. What are we doing here?
And what are you doing in this situation?
I would probably, since you've already paid the money, right?
Yeah.
Just tell him whatever he would like to give you.
That's a weird one too, because then
but listen, I'm not done.
That's like playing a mind game.
Now, let's
you
hear
put that money in a spot to where the first time Izzy needs to sign up for whatever little soccer tots or whatever she's playing. Now Uncle whatever his name is helps pay that. You just take that out of that fund.
Okay, not a terrible idea. Let me ask you this:
first time Mason needs a new pair of Jordans.
Oh, he already bought him Jordans actually, but you wore like twice. Okay, so they grow so fast. What if we do this? He likes to go to.
Say about babies.
He likes to go to casinos.
Oh.
What if he's offering 1,000 and I say, let's all have some fun at the casino.
And then you put it all on.
And we put it all on one or the other.
I think that's one of the dumbest ideas you've ever come up with in your entire life.
But wait, if it hits, what if it hits?
Well, now you just put it on 000.
That is really, really, really stupid.
000, who's doing that? Come on.
That is really
now we're really
stupid.
rolling with it. Because if you hit, everybody hits then.
Because in my mind, like, wait a second.
We're getting texts, by the way, they're saying that it's already over the line because you've already had one trip to Rhode Island and that you don't need to be doing a whole nother weekend here.
It's the 40th. That's
now you're just saying the number, so now we got the price goes up every time you say the age.
Will we even be together at 50? Like, come on. This is the one that counts.
Now, if we're betting on something,
put 1,000
Brendan
on
Sorsby
that.
isn't listening to Cleveland Sports Talk Radio.
$1,000 and you hold on to that until you pay for your first session with your new attorney.
You would ask. That's all fair.
No.
What would Brendan Sorsby do? That's all you have to ask in these situations.
We all know his lawyer, if it ever comes to that, we hope not, that's going to be pro bono. That's taken care of. You know that. Come on. The dream team works for you too. All right. It just feels so weird to say whatever you think is comfortable. Because to me, Owen, I'm sorry, it feels like a telethon, like I'm going to give him a mug and a gift bag afterwards. Like, it just feels weird. I'm sorry.
And I don't know what this conversation was even.
I don't know either, except for it's just this awkward conversation where the guy wants to give you money. Just, you know what? I hope he hears this, and I hope he just takes it upon himself and just shoves dollar bills in your hand. And that's it. I can't take. Seriously.
I'll take crypto, maybe.
If you want somebody to take your money, you just put the money in their hand. What are they going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
I will full on say this. Like, there's been plenty of things I've bought for the old man over the last couple years, and he does it in front of people. I can't deny the father to take his money. But if he's like, no. But then he takes the money out and shoves it in your hand. What are you going to do? I'm not going to turn him down at Christmas in front of my own father.
There is a weird manhood thing that I've seen take place out at restaurants where it's people throwing the cards and throwing them back and shoving it in their face.
And if it were Bernie, if this were your father-in-law, like if Bernie says like the I pay, you eat type of thing, well, that might be part of it, okay? That's her father. That's a difference. But to me, the brother, this is a weird thing. The brother's a weird relationship. Like I don't think I'd take. I do not believe I'd feel comfortable taking any money from my brother-in-law for any of my wife's dalliances.
That's how I've been thinking
of what we've had for
along.
birthdays. No, we're not doing that. And so, but he's coming into town, so he's actually having a part of this.
Yeah.
All right. I hope he hears it. I hope Bernie hears it, and he goes, Jake, just shove some dollar bills in his hand. Take $700 out in cash, shove it in his hand, we move on. That's what I think the answer to this is. Is that a good enough answer, Owen?
No.
216-474-0092. Should Dion get a say on the Fan?
Brad Evans here to help you beat the booze with Westwood One.
recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Well, Jake was listening, so hopefully he takes my advice. The hell?
Boy, our boss. It's amazing.
Interesting.
We're on the wrong side of this transaction, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was giving a whole take it or leave it thing. I didn't realize what that was over there. Holy Lord Almighty. Baskin and Phelps coming up here in 15 minutes.
Oh, there's a special guest. Actually,
it's got to be a bit by now. It's got to be a
somebody who I enjoy having on once in a great while on this very show in this time slot. I've had him on to talk Cavs. He's terrific. He covers the Cavs on a daily basis. Great synergy, the chemistry between us and the show.
Hoping to run him down next week, probably.
Well, he's right up there. You run him down now. He's right up there.
Great.
He's doing extensive show prep.
I don't know if he's got time to come in here right now, actually.
Well, they were involved.
I'm not. No, remember, I'm not. You guys can talk. I'm not allowed to talk.
Somebody's got to broker the Oh, and you know what? No, quiet for a second.
I've been given a gag order, so I'm not allowed to talk about them.
Quiet. Okay, gag order, schmag order.
That's okay. Well, we'll find that out.
Oh, and at some point, some professionals need to broker the peace.
That's true.
I tried.
We are adults with families.
I tried.
This isn't the Hatfields and the McCoys. Well, I guess we're also adults with families.
Yeah, those were adults.
Generations of families, actually.
If
that live in the same neighborhood.
Listen, if peace is going to be brokered, it's going to be done publicly. It's going to be done on the air.
What do you got for the next 10 minutes?
We didn't sit here and go through this for many years to do that privately. No, it's going to be done publicly. I'm looking up there. He can walk down here anytime. Anytime.
I just think it would be nice for me to be able to have my friends and colleagues rejoice in a reunion, so to speak. Didn't always have to be this way. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
By the way, yes, spies have, of course.
Ain't going to happen. You can walk out there all you want.
We've had Owen has left the
fine.
box. He's walking up. So spies apparently have soiled this discussion about the brother-in-law.
I just hope Jake takes my advice.
He's been listening.
Good.
He got tipped off.
At 6 in the morning out there, too, by the way. I hope he takes my advice. Just come on over here and get a wad of hundreds and shove them in his hand. I told you.
And that didn't seem like a big effort.
I told you. No, I'm sure he made an effort.
The look Owen just gave us was,
So now I got to move on. I can move on. I have to move on because I will be given a gag order if I say anything further. Remember, it's not my air; it's their air. 216-474-0092.
I mean, you just want to take? Both of you are prominent media personalities in this town.
Both of us?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's go to the phones. How about Maurice in the Bay Area, not Bay Village?
Mo.
Hello, Maurice.
What's up, Tom?
Hey.
What's going on with you? How's the Browns looking these days?
What is this?
Well, we were told,
about?
Mo, if you weren't listening earlier, we were told a certain young quarterback has been surging over the last week and a half.
Over the last week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Maurice?
Come on, man. Ever since the trade happened, Tom, this thing has been in the books, in the cue card for a long time.
You're calling the election.
Right
You're
now.
saying it's over,
right
Maurice.
Now. I've seen enough.
How long have I been calling this show?
You have been.
John was dying putting me on hold.
Not long enough. John wants to suppress your opinion, Maurice.
What's he been saying?
He tries to suppress the Shador agenda. That's John's problem.
Oh, my God. Can you not spread this slander about me? It's
listen,
official show stance that we want Shador.
Don't you turn this station into a house of lies. I know what you do behind the scenes. I know that you put these people on hold. Maurice, how long were you on hold?
Maurice is my guy. Stop it.
How long were you on hold, Maurice?
Hey, me and John got a great relationship. I was on hold since yesterday.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, Maurice.
Ken's afraid to take your call.
John is a wolf in sheep's clothes. You think he's on your side. He is not on your side. He will stab you right in the back.
I think it was Tone. Tone's like, I do not want to hear from Maurice. I do not want to hear from him. Of all
Terrible.
people.
Terrible.
Kenny, will you tell Maurice right now, man to man?
What?
When I get grilled by a caller, and whether I win or lose that particular debate with that caller, what do I say afterwards?
You love the call.
I love that call.
He always loves the call. When they get nasty, he likes it even more.
Well, our first call I guess it went all over the place out there, but enjoy yourself, Tone. The glove's coming off.
Is it happening? Is it happening? Is the awakening happening?
Can I ask you one question before we let you go, Maurice? All right? Let me ask you one question.
It's good.
Now you know who I want to start. Tell everybody who I want to start.
Dylan Gabriel.
Shut up. Who do I want to start, Maurice? Tell everybody who I want to start for the Browns.
Hey, you be waffling, Ken.
No. I asked a question. I want an answer.
Like Ken.
Who do I want to start?
You had it both ways,
All
but
right.
you have been on my side a little bit.
Well,
you have been on my side.
I'm willing to accept the truth of the matter here. This is the thing.
Okay.
What do you do if the Browns, they get ready for the season, they go Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback of this football team. What do you do?
As a fan now of Shador's, oh man, we just sit and we cook. But if that don't happen, I need for y'all to start changing this thing around like Shador was telling y'all a couple weeks ago. Be more positive. Let the reports come out. I don't know what Daryl's
On my
talking
children,
about.
I've been telling everybody.
On my children, Maurice, on my dog.
Yes, sir.
I know
Yes,
you've
sir.
just started listening to the station within the last year. Any Browns fan from coast to coast to coast to, I'm talking coast, brother.
About both the Portland.
Knows that I just want them to win, and that means I want him to do well.
6 or 7 games, Tom, we're going to do a little bit more than that, Ken. We're going to do a little bit more than
I don't know
that.
about that, man.
We're going to do a little bit more than that.
see
Y'all
about the
start getting y'all
offensive
hopes up.
I got to see about the
Line,
offensive
what I told you guys last time. Tom, who's your starting quarterback, Tom?
You've been adamant. You said
Tom.
Shador.
Tom, who's your starting quarterback?
He's not paying
Going
attention because
forward.
now he's getting texts from Sarah.
I'd go with Shador.
This year, next year, and every other year, Shador's going to be your quarterback. And stick to the wife. She likes your face at 3 a.m.
Do you think, Maurice?
Whoa.
Do you think, real quick, Maurice? Do you think it's disrespectful for us to be talking about other quarterbacks?
I don't know about the Sorsby thing. I don't know about the extracurricular Anthony Richardsons. Obviously, AB and them not going down that road. They sticking with the guy that's there.
I'd rather play with 10 than play with Anthony Richardson. Maurice, thank you for the call, friend. Have a wonderful day.
John.
Thank you.
John, are you on the headset right now?
Yeah, I'm here.
John, what's Chris Fedor up to in the back as he's getting ready for his show?
He's just chilling back there.
Yeah. Are they listening to the show?
They're watching me on YouTube Live.
No.
I know that.
He's munching on something. He's got a Chobani open.
Could John broker the piece?
No.
That would get him right up to the probationary period.
Jimmy Carter died last year. There ain't no chance. I mean, I'm more than willing. You got to have 2 to come to the negotiation table. It's what you get. Thanks to Maurice who called in. You got anything else you want to say?
I'm good.
You got nothing else you want to say?
I'm good. Except Maurice got me excited.
Any big takeaways from game 1 of the finals?
Yes, Karl Anthony Towns, the game of his life. I just did the math. Landry Shamet, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart are making less money combined than what the Cavs are going to have to pay Donovan Mitchell next year.
Whoa, you got to be kidding me. All 3?
Yeah.
Okay, I honestly did not know that. Okay.
Hey, get out the brooms, Cleveland.
There you go.
Get out the brooms in the
Now
Bronx.
we're talking. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
George Costanza ain't walking through that door. Ain't happening.
Are they wearing the
Thanks to
cotton
Mary
unis?
Kay. She was wonderful today. We're back tomorrow. Daryl's going to join us. Daryl better clarify something with me tomorrow on the show. There's something he tweeted yesterday I didn't necessarily care for, but I want to make sure I get his words right instead of just reading them. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Guardians. Let's get the sweep. Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Oh, boy.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Sponsored by Wrangler.